There'll be a court appearance today following a death in Port Augusta. A 58-year-old woman was hit by a car at a shopping centre car park yesterday. She died later in hospital. A 23-year-old woman has been charged with causing death by dangerous driving. The freeway is the number one hotspot for snapping speeding motorists in SA. It's been revealed the fixed cameras at Leeward Gardens were responsible for almost $5 million worth of fines in 2024-25, with the majority of offenders exceeding the limit by at least 10 Ks. Other fixed camera locations racking up plenty of fines: Tapley's Hill Road at West Beach and West Lakes Boulevard at West Lakes. Mobile speed cameras are their busiest on Grant Avenue at Rose Park and the North-South Motorway at Dry Creek. Well, after 2 years held in Gaza, the 20 remaining living Israeli hostages will return home in just a matter of hours. Hannah Sinclair is in Tel Aviv.
737 days the families have been waiting for this moment, and it is almost here. Officials say the hostage release will happen in the coming hours after midnight local time, with the 20 hostages still alive to be freed by Hamas all at the same time. As for the bodies of the 28 hostages believed to be dead, Hamas is still locating some of them, and that is going to take time. Unlike previous hostage releases, an Israeli spokesperson says there will be no sick displays by Hamas or parading of hostages. Instead, they'll be brought home in vehicles in the middle of the night. In exchange, Israel will free hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. It's ready to load them onto buses once it's confirmed all Israeli hostages have crossed the Gaza border.
The Albanese government will hold talks today with the Australian bosses of the main social media companies. The talks with Meta, Snapchat, YouTube and TikTok come ahead of the world first ban for under-16s. The government says the platforms must be ready to implement the age restrictions from December 10. Support for opposition leader Susan Lee has plunged further as instability in Liberal ranks is turning voters off. Dusty Fitzpatrick reports.
38% of voters surveyed by the Resolve Political Monitor rated Miss Lee's performance as poor or very poor. It follows a month of key resignations from her shadow frontbench and fights over policy positions on issues like immigration. The survey also reveals support for Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is down. 41% of voters say his performance was good or very good, down from 44% last month.
Now turning to 5AA sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
It's been a big weekend in sport, and with everything, it's over to Tom Wren. Good morning.
Thank you, Mel. Yeah, good morning to you. It has been a massive weekend, hasn't it? We're going to start with some motorsport. Matt Payne and co-driver Garth Tander have claimed victory at the Bathurst 1000 after crossing the line in second, giving the New Zealander his first Bathurst and Tander his sixth. James Golding crossed first but incurred a 5-second penalty. That was for nudging Cooper Murray a few laps earlier, which relegated him back into third spot. Well, the AFL trade period is starting to get to the pointy end with only 3 days left until its completion on Wednesday. The Crows are still looking to finalise a deal for Brisbane Premiership forward at Calamarchi. Let's get to cricket, and Australia's produced a record run chase to remain undefeated at the Women's One Day World Cup, chasing 331 to win. The Aussies reached the target with 3 wickets in hand and an over to spare. Alyssa Healy, the star, with a brilliant 142. Well, the Kangaroos have triumphed over Papua New Guinea in the Prime Minister's 13 clash, 28 points to 10. Aussie coach Kevin Walters says he's happy with the result ahead of the Ashes.
About 3 or 4 of our boys that are playing here will be coming on that tour, so it was a really important match for us from many ways, but also, with that, the Ashes in mind for those guys that haven't played finals football for some time.
It was a great result for the Aussie women, winning 50-0. And that's the 5AA sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, partly cloudy 19 today, a possible morning shower tomorrow 21, Wednesday sunny and 28, Thursday a possible storm 27 and Friday 20. Right now it's 12 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly, matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
A pedicure should feel good, and at Medi-Pedi it does from the ground up. Medi-Pedi combines the indulgent touch of beauty therapy with the trusted skills of podiatry, creating Adelaide's first medical pedicure. It's a treatment like no other. Your feet expertly cared for by a podiatrist, then pampered by one of Medi-Pedi's trained beauty therapists. Because looking after yourself should feel exquisite right down to your toes. With 4 Adelaide locations, book now at medipediclinics.com.au. Medi-Pedi, feel good from the ground up.
When your youngest finishes school and pick up and drop off become a distant memory. When the neighbours no longer have loud music to complain about. When you wake up and fall asleep to the sound of silence because the kids have flown the nest. If only. It happens sooner. Semi-retirement, disposable income and infinite time to spend it. You're a super consumer. If you run a business that'd like to reach the consumer we call the trifecta, speak to us here at FIVEAA.
Our place is your place at the Albion Hotel. Your place to raise a glass to a big sporting win, a milestone birthday, or just making it through the week. Cheers. Your place to bring the entire family, including the kids and grandkids, for an amazing meal together. Your place to sit back and just soak it all in. The Albion Hotel. Your local, your people, your place.
Look at all this stock. All of it has to go. Go, go, go. At all TJM stores nationwide. It's TJM's national car park sale. Bull bars, rooftop tents, suspension kits, camping gear. Prices slashed. We're talking select canopies from just $1,999 and rock slider and bull bar bundles starting at $1,600. These deals are in-store only. And when they're gone, they're gone, gone, gone. Get down to your local TJM store nationwide. 17th and 18th of October.
TJM.
Take the lead.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 6, good morning to you and welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast, the 13th of October. I think the weather's going to be a bit of a story this week. Looking forward to checking with the Bureau a little bit later because there's some shoots of summer that are beginning to come through, but in true spring fashion, we'll get some rain around the place as well, but we'll talk about all that with the Bureau a little bit later this hour. Also coming up on the program this morning, very shortly, we're going to be chatting with 5AA's V8 expert Sam Daddo, part of the 5AA Breakfast Diaspora, who's every single year, I think this is right, we'll check with him in a moment, he goes to Bathurst with his family every year. Yeah. There is no bigger rev head in the 5AA stable than Sam Daddo, and what a race it was over the weekend. Remarkable finish. Sam Daddo's going to take it through. Or we might get him to do 2 versions because he can do this for people that know everything about the V8s and people who know nothing about it. What were the things that excited him out of the weekend? We'll talk to him about that very shortly. Also, we're off to Tel Aviv a little bit later in the morning with the Israeli government to vote on the ceasefire deal today. We're going to talk a bit about speeding on our roads, both in front of schools and indeed in front of fixed cameras. Some data came out in the paper today. We're going to have a closer look at that. Surf lifesavers to the rescue when it comes to monitoring beaches for the algal bloom. That was a curious one announced over the weekend. We'll be chatting with the Surf Lifesaving CEO, Damien Marangon, a little bit later in the morning about what Surf Lifesavers can do to warn you about where it's safe to swim when the algal bloom is threatening, or maybe letting you know when it's not. We've got some terrific giveaways as well. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Yes, an absolutely jam-packed show. Algal bloom, stage 1 of the summer plan, it sounds like. The enlisting of the nippers and the older members of the SLSCs to get them out as the eyes of all of us on our oceans, swim between the flags. A wry line from the opposition yesterday about hopefully the algae knows to swim between the flags too. But we'll be getting into all that later on. 10 years and 1 day we've been broadcasting now. Here we go now.
Well, not quite. 10 years and 2.5 minutes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I was just going to note
don't age us prematurely.
We're now into our second decade.
Well, that's still factually accurate.
Don't worry. We were at gunpoint forced to do the Tribute to Ourselves program on Friday, so we're not going to do it again today. It's going to be good having Sam on, though, because he was one of our... Well, you're not allowed to say you have favourites. They're all favourites, but he was one of our favourite people to work with. A sensational producer. And, yeah, I don't think Sam ever missed a Bathurst. I reckon every single year that I've worked with Sam, him and his family would habitually go there. I don't think there was...
Paddy's actually just gone back and looked at the rundowns from every year after Bathurst. He's done 4 straight for us. We know he's at least attended the last 4 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Maybe we should talk family traditions to start the program this morning. Like his whole family go to Bathurst every year. Where's a place you and your whole family would go? What was your family tradition? 82230000. I'll tell you what is a lot of fun. The Lucky Dumpling Markets are about to start in Adelaide, and we've got some vouchers to enjoy that. Food and beverage vouchers for you to get down and enjoy all sorts of delicious treats from Nancho Man. Spice Kitchen 89. Have you been to Nancho Man?
No.
It's part naan, part nacho. As if the title didn't give it away for you.
So it's like an Indian naan with Mexican sort of attitude.
Or fusion. Suki Lala, Gang, and Kaya Desserts. Taste the flavours of Asia at Lucky Dumpling Market, Adelaide Springtime Food Entertainment Hub. 17th of October to 9th of November. Visit luckydumplingmarket.com. Where did you go? Where did you go as a family? If you close your eyes and go family trip, the daddos go Bathurst.
Yeah,
where is it for you?
If it's the daddos, it's all of the daddos, isn't it?
That's right.
It's like the parents, siblings. Are there siblings involved?
Yes. He's got a brother.
Yeah.
An older brother.
We never really did en masse family trips like that. You do a bit, don't you? You go away with the whole family sometimes.
Well, when we were kids, we didn't have a huge family. There was only the 5 of us, but
yeah,
we always went to Renmark was one of our absolute classics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we loved.
Did you go to the reptile park?
I don't. You say that a lot. I don't.
Big paper mache T-Rex.
I don't recall the.
How can you miss it? Giant ruddy T-Rex out the front.
I don't recall the reptile park.
Actually, maybe that's one of those things though, because I'm more than 10 years older than you. Maybe it just wasn't there when you were a kid.
Maybe we were always on the water doing stuff. It was sort of less, terrestrial and more.
I didn't want to do
aquatic based.
No, I didn't want to go on the water or do any activities.
You would go to the Riverland and not go on the water.
I would go to the reptile park with a notebook about lizards and write down I'd tick off every lizard that I've seen. Renmark. How did Renmark come about?
We had family that lived there.
Our thing was always annually the Victorian driving holiday.
Oh, this is where you go dress up as coal miners and stuff.
Yeah, the olden days. Sovereign Hill. And, gee, some of the things we saw. Dad go, kids have met some amazing antique farm machinery in Caniva or wherever, in St. Arnoux or, the age of steam, kids. We're going to pull over for 45 minutes to just check out some of these old threshers and harvesters. Amazing. Great.
I wonder where your love of the steam age came from.
I have no love of the steam age.
I often find myself contemplating that.
My dad loved the steam age. Still does.
Michael in Rostrevor, what was your traditional destination for a family?
Ponrelawi, York Peninsula, for 10 years.
And what did you do there, Michael?
We, back in the early 70s, remember, I don't know whether you remember, foam surf. Dad had a little 15-foot dinghy sailing boat and all the beach toys. And it was just a get away from the city. And the strangest thing is, when you're at that age, early primary school, you don't even remember the first visit. All you remember is the road trip, packing up, getting there, and just realising it's school holidays and it's, okay, we're away from life. But to reflect after 50 years, it's very difficult to remember why you did it and the first road trip. But those memories, they do stick with you, don't they?
They do. Do you know, it's funny, Michael, you say that, the silly things that you remember from the kids, sort of the family traditional holidays. We would stay in these, we do it Tanunda and Renmark, stay in these motels. And my brother and I, the highlight for us always was the 6-pack of mini cereals that we'd stop into the supermarket to buy. And then it was
Kellogg's Variety Pack.
The Variety Pack, dividing up who got what out of the 6, and you have a mini draft.
Oh, you don't want to get stuck with a special code.
Well, this is it. You had to sort of, did you want the first pick?
What was your first pick?
The dangerous wraparound? It depended what was in there was a couple of iterations of it.
Well, there's one that's like the healthier one that's got like
We generally had
it.
to have the healthy one, but occasionally,
Oh, really?
Mum and Dad had a moment of weakness.
You want the one with Cocoa Pops and Fruit Loops?
Oh yeah, there was no losers in that packet.
Nah,
except Mum and Dad probably.
Yeah, that's right. Certainly not your dentist.
Mark in Richmond. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you remember the Tarzos in the bottom of the bag?
Oh yeah.
Bag? How good were they?
Tarzos.
Yeah, Tarzos. They're like the round discs.
Yeah, I remember them, Mark.
A tradition for you. My family's on one of 8, and my mum used to pack the car on a Friday night, and we'd head over to Kangaroo Island for the holidays. Brilliant part of the world. There was always we stayed at American Beach. What we know as American Beach, there was another beach actually further towards Penneshaw that we often used to go to, and often we'd have friends over, come and stay with us, or stay with their cousins. My parents owned a bit of land over there, or used to own a bit of land over there, and summer, winter, rain, hail or shine, we're always there. Pack up the Super Trooper, and off we went.
Good
times
spot
and
for
good
a family
memories.
holiday. I tell you what, that's magnificent, Mark. Thank you. Goose says that he's a similar family history to Sam Daddo. Dad took me to my first Bathurst age 12. Once older, I started going with my mates. I went 20 times. Dad made it to 49 Bathursts.
Kidding.
Couldn't crack the half ton due to illness, but when the time is to take his ashes, they're going to leave them at the top of the mountain. Good on you, Goose. Thank you for that. We're heading to Bathurst to chat with Sam Daddo on the other side of the break to get a wrap of the race. But if you've got a family holiday hotspot that you used to go to, like the Daddos to Bathurst, we'd love to hear about it this morning on 8223 0000.
Simplicity Funerals make funeral planning the way it should be. Simple. With our easy and straightforward packages, it has never been simpler to organise a respectful funeral. Visit simplicityfunerals.com.au or call us 24/7 to get started today.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
You've selected your block up on the river. Your mind is buzzing with ideas. This is going to be the best river home ever. Raised high, breezes flowing, great times ahead. But first, you need to walk through the Selector Homes display village and let your design ideas flow. Selector Homes have been creating holiday homes for over 25 years, and they are experts in building pole homes. Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
Go Vita, your local health food shops. With 40 years health and wellness experience and over 300 natural health practitioners specialising in you.
Hi, I'm Yvonne from Go Vita Marion. For those moments when life gets a little too hectic, choose Nutrivital Premium Stress and Anxiety with ashwagandha, ginseng and sacred basil. 60 tabs, now $33.55. Save 40%. Always read the label and follow directions for use.
Go Vita, Colonnades, Fairview Green, Marion, Mount Barker, Semaphore and Tanunda.
Drive into the Tasmanian wilderness, wildlife, wine and coastal wonders with a 14-night self-drive holiday with Tasmanian Vacations and Phil Hoffman Travel. Stay in Cradle Mountain, Strawn, Hobart and the east coast of Tasmania. Visit Port Arthur, Salamanca Market and the Huon Valley. Enjoy included car hire, a National Parks Pass, Devils at Cradle Tour and more from $2,298 per person twin share. Book now to receive free petrol. Visit pht.com.au.
Is stress making your muscles tense and your nights restless? Caruso's new Super Magnesium plus Ashwagandha to the rescue. With 6 forms of magnesium, Caruso's Super Magnesium plus Ashwagandha supports muscle relaxation, relieves symptoms of stress and promotes deep sleep. So if you're tired of tense muscles and sleepless nights and can't wait for calm, comfort and peaceful relaxation, try Caruso's Super Magnesium plus Ashwagandha today. From leading pharmacies and health stores, always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes to 6. Let's make it 5 years in a row, shall we? 5AA's resident rev head. No one here knows more than Sam Daddo about Bathurst, and I suspect few have been to as many as he's been to. Sam, good morning to you. Thanks for getting up to chat with us, mate. How many Bathursts is this now for you?
Well, Dave, morning. First one was 2002, and I missed one during COVID. So you can do the math. It's too early for me.
22.
So more than 2 decades.
Yep. And then I think my brother's done the same amount. Mum, fair less, but she's, in the later years, has been coming every year as well. And Dad missed 2 during COVID. So the last 20 to 22, 23 years has been a Daddo at every event, put it that way.
And how did this one look like it was as good as any you've seen?
I mean, I heard you at the top of the show, Will, saying the short version or the long version. Short version, rain makes very, very good race.
Yeah.
Longer version, it was a crazy day because when the race started at just before midday, it was 22 degrees, sunny, perfect conditions everywhere, but we knew rain was on the way. And when you do add rain to a race like at Bathurst, anything can happen. And that certainly did happen because as the day went on, it wasn't just the rain that made everything interesting. It was the fact that all the bigger names that you'd expect to be there at the end were all dropping off as well. I mean, for me, myself, lap 51, Nick Percat out with engine trouble, so I had to soldier on through that one. But the list of big names continued, like Chaz Mostert for Walkinshaw Andretti United. He had engine trouble. Mark Winterbottom and Cam Waters for Tickford Racing, who was another one who was expected to be there at the end. Mark Winterbottom put it in the fence at Forest Elbow during the rain. Pole sitters of the SA boy, Todd Hazelwood, Brody Kostecki, they had another coming together with another car during the wet. Both Red Bull racing cars, I mean, they've been the absolute stalwarts of the series for the past 20 years. Chances are they're going to win a race. They were absolutely nowhere as well. So you add the rain, 7 safety cars. The race ran almost 7 hours long, which is a longer race than past because you think about it, a dry lap takes about 2 minutes and 7-8 seconds. A wet lap, they were taking about 2-minute 35-second laps. So
wow,
it just kept going and going. And the fact that in the 20-odd years of going, it's probably one of the later finishes I've ever seen. But also, I don't know if you've seen any of the footage of the last 5-10 laps. The fog that was descending on top of the mountain was just something that I've never seen before during a race and made for a very interesting shots for TV, but also would have been extremely challenging across the top of the mountain. But tying it all in, you had all these newer names that were coming to the front towards the end of the race. You had Cooper Murray for Erebus. He was taken out by James Golding with a few laps to go. You had, Matt Payne had Garth Tander as his co-driver. So Garth Tander's won his 6th Bathurst 1000, but it was Matt Payne's first. And yeah, just rain, a bunch of new names that we don't really see at the front often, 7 safety cars, an almost 7-hour race. It was just a very good event, boys.
Yeah. Where do you stay when you're there, Sam?
So we've normally been camping at the Vietnam Veterans Park for the last 10 or so years, but we decided to wimp out this year. I mean, we've got 20 years on the board, so we stayed at a hotel in Orange. So it was a nice, pleasantly drive to Orange, about a couple of nice pubs in Orange. I do have to mention as well that I haven't experienced before, but there are a couple of good pubs there. But yeah, we were staying in Orange. We had nice, warm, dry conditions. We weren't camping for a change, so that made it a bit easier. But yeah, we'd normally stay at the Vietnam Veterans Park, and the numbers through those parks and all the campgrounds throughout Bathurst were still as packed as you'd normally see.
What's the scene up on the mountain a couple of hours after the race where everyone's camping? What is that? Describe that for us.
I mean, I remember my first year back in 2002, we went up there and Mum was with us that first year, and that was still at the tail end of it being properly rowdy. And put it this way, Mum would not let me and my brother out of our sight. She was a little bit nervous as to all the tomfoolery going around on top of the mountain. Now it's a lot tamer than what it has been, but I mean, for a first timer going on top of the mountain, seeing, towers of empty beer cartons and beer cans and the rowdiness, and people have been there since the Monday getting, quote unquote, prepared. After a few hours on the Sunday, it is an experience. Not, as I said, not as crazy as it has been in the past, but it's still eye-opening if you're not used to it.
Getting prepared from the Monday ahead. Magnificent. Sam, lovely work. Brilliant.
Thanks, boys.
Sam. Good
That
on
was
you,
excellent, mate.
Sam Dado making his annual pilgrimage. Save for 1 year of COVID. Since 2002, he's made it to every single Bathurst. 8223 is our name. You can text us on the Police Home Care text line. A few have been about their Dado-esque family holiday destinations. We'll get to some of those in a moment. Let's have a look at the weather situation first, though. 11.4 degrees outside in the city at the moment. Pretty routine stock standard day today, top of 19. Have a listen to the rest of the week, though. So 21 with a possible shower on Tuesday. Then we get 28 and sunny on Wednesday. 27 with a possible storm on Thursday. Drops back to 20, partly cloudy, unremarkable Friday. Then the weekend, 27, sunny on Saturday, 32, and up to 5 mils of rain on Sunday.
32 on Sunday.
With an overnight low of on Sunday morning, Saturday night of 19 degrees.
Crikey.
So it's going to feel balmy on the weekend.
Crack out the gin and tonic.
There's no. I tell you what, this will be notable. Apart from today, there's no maximum forecast temperature this week without a 2 in front of it.
Yeah.
We've officially crossed out of the cold weather, I think.
I love this one from Rob. We used to caravan to St Helens on the east coast of Tassie each year. We were doing the usual where us kids will be down at the beach after dark playing with torches and pretending to signal fishing boats with Morse code. When one year Mum erupted and said, "This is why you don't do that," showing us the front page of the paper with the news that the ship Lake Illawarra had hit the Tasman Bridge.
It's a learning opportunity there.
Right. And he says that could have been the start of my weird sense of humour. You see what happens if you play Morse code with torches, kids? That's so funny.
That's excellent, Rob. Keep your stories of family pilgrimages coming in, 8223 In the meantime, Tom Wren in the studio with us. Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gladderall Garage Doors, gladderall.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Winners and losers for the weekend, fellas. You just had a great chat there with Sammy, but the Bathurst was a fantastic race yesterday. There was so much drama going on. Matt Payne and Garth Tander, they take it out, so they're big winners. James Golding, he crossed the line first, but unfortunately doesn't win because of the penalty, so bit of a loser there. If you're just waking up this morning, Cricket World Cup game, the women, record chase. Alyssa Healy made 142. The Aussies chased down 331 against India. So that was a pretty amazing match.
Incredible.
Over there. That's in the midst of still going, that tournament. Still got another couple of weeks to run. The Crows women, I was out there at Norwood on Saturday it was. Good performance from them. Keeps their premiership hopes alive. North Melbourne are the team to beat. I think they've won 21 games in a row or something silly. Port's women unfortunately lost. It just about means they're done for the season in terms of finals aspirations, which is disappointing given they made the prelim last year. And the big losers, I'm sure you would have seen this one on Saturday night, Will. They started the season so well, maybe just a bit flat after having to play on Thursday night, but it was a huge build-up against the Sydney Kings and Kendrick Davis, who certainly hasn't left anyone wondering what he thinks about the organisation and I guess everyone involved with the basketball club. But the 36ers were pummeled by 24 points against the Kings, unfortunately. And Davis, who's got a pretty hot mouth, was pretty good too.
Unfortunately. Yeah, it felt like one of those backing up 48 hours later, early in the season.
Yeah.
Had played some soft opponents. Weren't quite ready for it. That's all right.
I think so. And Bryce Cotton, I mean, credit to them, they did an amazing job. They kept him to 7 points. They just totally starved his supply. It says to me, I still think they need another import, the Sixers.
Without a doubt. I mean, for them to be, what is it, 3-1 now?
3-1.
3-1, and you've lost your second best import a week out from the start of the season. I think you take that. I think Mike Wells has done a really good job.
I reckon, yeah, really good so far. So we'll give them a tick even though they went down on the weekend. And the trade period, we'll talk about it over the next few days. They've got to get this down to 3 days.
When does it end?
Wednesday night, 7 o'clock our time.
When did it start? About 8 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It goes all year.
It does these days.
You know, it's sort of all under the, behind the curtain, but it starts officially last Monday's when it started. So it goes for 9 days? Too long.
Yeah.
Too long. Should be 3 days, I think. But they drag it out because it keeps the headlines coming. They drip feed a few here and there, but still no deal for Calamachi.
It's a bit of a wake me up when it's over story for a lot of people, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at these days. It's like leadership speculation in political journalism. You just write any old thing. Like, yeah, you know, Susan Lee's under a fresh threat. She might be, you know, someone else is coming here and Hasey's doing this. Like, okay.
You just glaze over until it happens.
Whatever. Wake me up when it's over.
Yeah.
Good on you, Reddy.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 19 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A 23-year-old woman has been charged with causing death by dangerous driving. Her car allegedly hit a pedestrian in a Port Augusta car park yesterday. The 58-year-old victim died later in hospital. There'll be a court appearance today. More tourism vouchers are up for grabs. An expanded Coast is Calling program has been announced with an additional 30,000 vouchers. Tourism Minister Zoe Bettison says they're available for accommodation and experiences.
We want to minimise the impact of the algal bloom. The summer season is critical for these businesses on the coast, and the travel vouchers are a real practical way to say to South Australians, you've got to help out.
Vouchers in this round will cover a longer period of travel between December 5 and April 26. Well, US President Donald Trump is making his way to the Middle East to formally mark the Gaza ceasefire deal. Israel is awaiting the return of the 20 last remaining hostages held by Hamas. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it's an historic moment for the region.
Our sons and daughters will return to their borders. It has always happened that there's such sadness. It's a historic event that there's this sadness alongside this happiness. People didn't believe that it was going to happen, but our combatants believed.
Australians are being warned to be on alert for scammers after hackers made good on their threat to release the stolen data of 5.7 million Qantas customers. The group managing to steal the personal information by targeting a company called Salesforce. Tech expert Trevor Long says the data is now openly available.
Any scammer in the world can now get this information and start targeting our Australian customers because they know more about you. They can use an email address and a first name. It can be very polite. Then they can indicate that they know that you're a Qantas frequent flyer. They can dupe you very quickly now.
Social media platforms will be asked to give an update on their preparedness for the under-16s ban. Michael Packey has the details.
Within 2 months, social media companies will have to abide by world-first legislation which will see under-16s restricted from their platforms in a bid to reduce their exposure to trolls and violent material. Communications Minister Annika Wells will today meet with Australian officials from Meta, Snapchat, YouTube and TikTok. She'll hold talks with X next month. The organisations will have to detail how prepared they are to impose the age restrictions from December 10. The Government and eSafety Commissioner won't accept any excuses, arguing the platforms must be ready to go.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you so much, Mel. Let's start with football. The clock is ticking on several stars with 3 days left for the trade period. Eddie Summerfield reports.
Clayton Oliver could be a giant by the end of the day as the clock ticks on the trade period. Melbourne's talks with Gold Coast for teammate Christian Petrarca are also well advanced. Charlie Curnow's desire to leave Carlton remain a long way off as Sydney and Geelong jostle for the forward. An offer of 3 first-round picks offered up by the Cats, not enough for the Coleman medal winner. Zach Merritt is still yet to formally request a trade to Hawthorn as the Hawks work to beef up its offer for the Essendon captain, while Jai Simpkins, Murray Ugle-Hagan and Rowan Marshall are among the other names still looking for a new home before the trade period ends at 7:30 on Wednesday night.
Let's get to motorsport. Matt Payne has broken through for his first ever Bathurst title, taking out the great race along with veteran Garth Tander, who won for a 6th time. James Golding copped a crucial 5-second penalty after nudging Cooper Murray in the wet weather race. And in some cricket, Alyssa Healy has smashed 142 from just 107 balls as Australia chased a record 331 to beat India at the Women's One-Day World Cup. Her knock included 21 fours and 3 sixes as the Aussies reeled in the target with 3 wickets in hand and an over to spare. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast, partly cloudy, 19 today, a possible morning shower tomorrow, 21. Wednesday is sunny and 28. Thursday a possible storm, 27. Right now it's 11 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
25 minutes to 7 coming up this half hour on the program. We'll check in with SAPOL and indeed the Weather Bureau about what is going to be a warm but punctuated by little spots of shower week with maybe a storm on Wednesday. Forecast for Adelaide. We'll get that very, very shortly. Before 7 o'clock, we're going to be talking to the founder of Play It On, SA's only second-hand sports store designed at giving people an equal opportunity to get into sport. This is a lovely idea by Teresa Brown. We'll be chatting with her before 7 o'clock. Then after 7 today, looking forward to chatting with Surf Lifesaving SA's CEO, Damien Marangon, about an initiative announced over the weekend where surf lifesavers will be planting flags on the beach, swim between the flags. But this summer, it'll mean there's no algae here. 7-day-a-week patrols to make sure that our beaches are algae-free, or at very least, the places they mark are algae-free. How's that going to work? There's a lot of outstanding questions we've got about that. We're going to get into it after 7:30 today. Lots of terrific stories coming through from our listeners who are all in the running to win a food and beverage voucher to the Lucky Dumpling Market at the Ausasia Festival. That's a great event here in South Australia, and some great memories we're getting, inspired by the Daddo family's yearly pilgrimage to Bathurst, about people's favourite holiday destinations in South Australia. Andrew says every Christmas as a kid, our family and a few other families would stay at Horseshoe Bay Caravan Park at Port Elliot. Lots of drunken adults, sunburn and broken foam surfboards. Thank you for that. Our Alberton correspondent Dave Lloyd says October long weekend we're on York Peninsula with another family for what is now our 25th year. All our adult children and their partners join us. We've done Ardrossan,
25th.
Edithburgh, Port Vincent, our favourite weekend of the year. That is a terrific family tradition.
It certainly is. What has become a bit of a tradition in Australia is the protests that we've seen all over the country. They've been going on for 2 years, controversially starting in Sydney at the Opera House in the immediate aftermath of the October 7 terrorist attacks, which killed hundreds of Jewish civilians. Well, yesterday, with the prospect of hostages being freed and, in addition, political prisoners also, some of them so-called political prisoners who are members of Hamas, but as part of the deal, they're going to be let out too. Despite that, we saw protests all around the country, including here in Adelaide. Mike Kazam is the Deputy Chair of the Australian Friends of Palestine Association, and he joins us now. Mike, thanks for your time. What do you say to critics who said these protests look kind of silly, given that the deal has now been done and it looks like finally there is a pathway, hopefully, to peace in Gaza?
Look, the protests aren't silly at all. We've seen peace deals collapse in the past, Israel not fulfilling its obligations. We have not...
What, just Israel?
Well, primarily Israel. I mean, in 1993, a peace agreement was signed between Israel and the Palestinians to allow for a two-state solution in the West Bank and Gaza and East Jerusalem, and the Israelis have continued to put their own citizens and settle in those areas. So they've undermined the possibility of peace in the last 30 years. But look, the protests aren't just about what's happening now. They're about the bigger issue of Palestinian self-determination. The Israelis have maintained a military occupation now for 58 years. They're using that occupation to settle their own citizens in the Palestinian territories and a block of Palestinian state coming into being. So it's about the bigger issue. It's about the issue.
But don't you get that either way? I mean, you get that with the sort of much more considered and even-handed approach, the more liberal approach, I guess, of Canada, France, England, Australia. But you also get the promise of statehood under a Netanyahu-Trump model too.
No, look, Netanyahu just last month clearly said there will never be a Palestinian state. And the reality is that they've got 800,000 Israelis settled in the Palestinian areas. They're not looking to allow the Palestinians to have a state. They've talked about ethnically cleansing Gaza. the whole military campaign is aimed towards pushing Palestinians to the south of the Gaza Strip as a first step towards expulsion. They've made the Gaza Strip utterly uninhabitable. We've all seen that night after night. So we have no faith in the current peace process, but we think the path to peace is not just leaving it up to the Israelis and the Americans who are their backers, but rather it needs countries like Australia to put economic pressure on Israel to make them abide by the agreement they signed 30 years ago for a Palestinian state.
What about countries like Qatar and Turkey and Egypt and others that have been a party to this process? Why do you have no faith in them?
Look, they have been a party to the negotiations. That's absolutely true. But Israel is by far the strongest party. They're a nuclear power. They're a major military power. You've seen the comparison in terms of how much power the Palestinians have. Turkey and Qatar cannot make Israel do anything. Only the United States can. And the United States has a very powerful Israel lobby, which means that it really pressures Israel. Israel holds all the cards. It's the major military power. It holds all the territory involved. It controls the lives of all the Palestinians. Concessions have to come from Israel if there's to be a Palestinian state. And if the pressure doesn't come from the United States, which it's not, it has to come from the international community, them putting sanctions on Israel to force them to abide by international law and by the agreements they've signed in the past.
You sound disappointed that there's a ceasefire.
No, I'm not at all disappointed. We're hugely relieved the killing has stopped. But what we're saying is it isn't the end of the story. The conflict in Gaza is a symptom of a 50-year military occupation where the Israeli military controls the lives of Palestinians, takes their land, shoots them when they resist. That's the bigger reality, and you can't deal with that reality unless you look beyond just what's happening now. We're absolutely delighted that the killing has stopped, but we need to look at why the killing is happening, and that's the issue. Without Palestinian self-determination, without freedom for the half of the population that is Palestinian.
But do you understand that? So people from the outside that aren't as emotionally charged up by this go, these very protests that took place in Australia, everyone was holding up these ceasefire now signs. Yep. And now it feels like there's a ceasefire and, no one believes in the ceasefire anyway. Can you understand externally that looks like the desire here is to continue making the argument as opposed to making progress?
Look, the first issue has always been to stop the killing, but people that support self-determination and justice for the Palestinians have been campaigning for decades. When the genocide started, the first priority obviously is to stop the killing. But once the shooting stops, the next issue is just to get rid of the core of the problem.
During genocide, sorry, Mike, can I just jump in, just being pedantic? Is genocide really the right word? Genocide means a deliberate campaign to wipe out an entire race of people forever. Is that what you think is happening there?
Well, genocide is an attempt to wipe out, in part or in whole, a group of people, yes. And it's not just what I think is happening there. The UN has come to the same conclusion. Amnesty International has come to the same conclusion. The Israeli Human Rights Organization, B'Tselem, has come to the same conclusion. Holocaust scholars have come to the same conclusion. That's the reality.
Okay. Well, sounds like the bluing is going to continue even amidst a ceasefire and a peace plan. Mike Kazam from the Australian Friends of Palestine Association, thank you for joining us.
I reckon 6 months ago, if you'd gone to a protest and said, in 6 months' time, there'll be a cessation of hostilities and most of the Western world will recognise a Palestinian state, people go, well, that would have us dancing in the street.
Well,
it's not a lot of there wasn't a lot of dancing in the street yesterday.
I think part of it too. I mean, the claim that it's only ever been Israel that stuffed up the two-state approach. That is not my understanding of it. I can think of plenty of times where one of the stumbling blocks to Palestinian acceptance of some of the peace plans is the continued existence of Israel in any form, which is why people get so upset about the river to the sea chant, because what that chant basically says is from this bit here, from the Jordan River to that bit of sea, no G's. Just get them all out of here.
Well,
I mean, I just think the whole thing, my personal view is that Trump and Netanyahu currently have a really impressive piece of paper in their hands, and hopefully let's see the hostages being released. But after that, I mean, on what basis would you feel any unyielding sense of optimism about the future of this neck of the woods?
I think everyone's right, cynical about the whole thing, given what past history has taught us. But I think protesting the failure of the ceasefire before the ceasefire is actually broken down, I'm not sure that helps the entire process.
It sounds like they got their signs made in advance, and then come last Friday, we've already painted them. We've got to take them. We've got to take them to the protest anyway.
I tell you what, we got a few texts about Lydia Thorpe. For people that haven't heard her comments, have a listen.
So we stand with you every day, and we will turn up every day. And if I have to burn down Parliament House to make a point, I am not there to make friends. I am there to get justice for our people. And I am there to free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Do you reckon how would burning down Parliament House help the Palestinian cause?
I don't think
She's not that bright, is
making
she?
logical points is part of the aim of Lydia Thorpe's business model as a parliamentarian.
Her business model.
I think she breaks into a cold sweat if 4 weeks passes where she hasn't said something that's offended 75% of Australians.
Yeah, I think we should just try not to take the bait.
Because
she's card carrying.
We've received the only reason we've received lots of texts on it. People who want to know. Some of you hadn't heard it, or that half heard it.
I hadn't heard it, actually. I'd read it. I knew about it, but I hadn't actually heard the audio. But it's sort of this grab bag, sort of like Jubilee Pavilion politics, isn't it? Where you go, I'm going to have a free East Timor badge, and I'll get a PLO badge, and I'll get a, always was, always will be badge, and you get all your chants, and off you go. Like
Lydia Thorpe right now is kind of... Lydia Thorpe's the angry Nick Xenophon.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's as opposed to him driving around in a little funny clown car down North Terrace, she yells about burning down Parliament, but I actually think they're the same thing.
Yeah. You can imagine her at knockoffs going, gave them a bit of what they want, eh?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. That'll keep GB and 6PR and 5AA fired up for a couple of days.
Everyone, on Monday morning, we're back to the whiteboard because we can't use burn down Parliament again.
Right.
All right?
We've already done that one.
We're going to come up with something new. I want something fresh. All right, let's check traffic. Help Australians waiting to access critical medicines by visiting strongerpbs.com.au for more information.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Got a small crash to look out for at Paraka this morning. Montague Road near Main North Road. Breakdown getting sorted out at Ingle Farm. Maxwell Road near Bridge Road. And already quite busy for those ongoing works at Flinders Park for the intersection upgrade Grange Road and Holbrooks Road. Good news at O'Halloran Hill. Those new on and off ramps at Majors Road on the Southern Expressway have opened up, so you should have an easier drive in if you're coming in from Trott Park, Shadow Park or Hallett Cove this morning. Cameras, Tennyson Street, Karata Park and Smart Road, Modbury. Prime Big Day Deals is live now. Shop big on deals across kitchen, electronics and more, exclusively for Prime members. Prime Big Day Deals ends today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Your old hot water system can drive as much as 40% of your energy bill. Fortunately, you can upgrade to something that's 70% cheaper to run thanks to Right Price. They're the leaders in heat pumps and installation. Now's the time to upgrade and save money on a more efficient hot water system and take advantage of government incentives and free installation. Reduce your energy costs today with a heat pump from Right Price. Make the switch with Right Price Hot Water.
At Right Price, heating and cooling, you can get the price right at Right Price.
When your youngest finishes school and pick up and drop off become a distant memory. When the neighbours no longer have loud music to complain about. When you wake up and fall asleep to the sound of silence because the kids have flown the nest. If only it happened sooner. Semi-retirement, disposable income and infinite time to spend it. You're a super consumer. If you run a business that'd like to reach the consumer we call the trifecta, speak to us here at FIVEAA.
Look at all this stock. All of it has to go. Go, go, go. At all TJM stores nationwide. It's TJM's national car park sale. Bull bars, rooftop tents, suspension kits, camping gear. Prices slashed. We're talking select canopies from just $1,999 and rock slider and bull bar bundles starting at $1,600. These deals are in-store only, and when they're gone, they're gone, gone, gone. Get down to your local TJM store nationwide, 17th and 18th of October. TJM.
Take the lead. Here's some breaking news. Chai latte and chocolate donut is good for you. Maybe not when it comes to calories, but when it is good for you when it comes to the soul. How about Cafe Hoppability? They're in Fullerton, operated by Holistic Care SA, and they provide meaningful and rewarding jobs for keen workers who live with a disability. If you're in the Fullerton area, make Cafe Hoppability your go-to cafe.
They also do catering for corporate lunches and functions. It's a great option for all the local businesses in the east. And remember, when you choose Cafe Hoppability, you're doing a generous deed so you can grab a second donut guilt-free.
Next lunch break, or if you need catering, do something that's good for you and others. Cafe Hoppability, Fullerton Road, Kent Town, just up from the roundabout.
KFC's new $4.95 Sweet Tokyo Fill-Up. Hot and crispy, drizzled with sweet teriyaki, sprinkled with sesame seeds, plus all your other faves. Kind of sweet, kind of not. Like being told, your face is so unique. Rude. KFC, FLG. Not everywhere, not forever. Pick up only until 4 p.m.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 minutes to 7. Let's talk about the weather this week. Hannah Marsh at the Bureau joins us. Morning to you, Hannah.
Morning, Dave and Will.
So just take us through the week ahead, because it looks like, fingers crossed, we might have put the cold weather behind us.
Yeah, it's looking that way, but having a look at some of the minimums, you might not realise that it did get as low as 5 degrees at Nooriupa and Mount Lofty this morning, but that graded up to 11 degrees at the airport. And in the city, we had a minimum of 10.6, which was just after 1:30 this morning. We're heading for a maximum of 19 degrees in the city, Glenelg and Mount Barker today, 18 for Noarlunga and 20 for Elizabeth. We do have a little bit of cloud around, but there is a weak front that will just clip the southeast of the state overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, which could see the possibility of a spot or two tomorrow morning. There is also the chance of seeing some fog in the early hours tomorrow morning as well, but looking at a maximum of 21 for tomorrow. Then we really see the temperatures increase, getting up to 28 degrees on Wednesday and 27 on Thursday. But we do have a change that we're expecting to come through. It will bring some showers with it, and also the possibility of seeing a thunderstorm during the afternoon and evening on Thursday. We do see the temperatures drop back, but as you mentioned, just to 20 degrees and partly cloudy for Friday, before increasing again to 27 on Saturday.
Good stuff, Hannah. Sounds like summer is on the way. Hannah Marsh from the Bureau of Meteorology.
All right, let's head to Safe Bowl. Sergeant Peter Williams is on the line. Peter, arrest after a fatal crash in Port Augusta.
Guys, just after 1:30 yesterday afternoon, a tragic incident unfolded in a shopping centre car park off Jervois Street in Port Augusta, where police and emergency services were called to the scene after a pedestrian had been struck by a Mazda sedan. The victim, a 58-year-old woman from Port Augusta, was rushed to hospital in a critical condition, and despite the best efforts of emergency responders and medical staff, she sadly passed away. The underground car park was closed to the public as police began the investigation as to what had occurred, and yesterday afternoon the driver of the Mazda, a 23-year-old woman also from Port Augusta, was arrested and charged with causing death by dangerous driving. She's been refused bail, and she will next appear or reappear into the Port Augusta Magistrates Court today.
And Pete, also, 2 women have been arrested in Hackham West. Looks like they're involved in the drug trade.
Yeah, 2 women have found themselves in some hot water after a routine police patrol in Hackham West turned into a textbook example of what not to do when approached by officers. Just before 9:30 last night, patrol officers were patrolling along Village Road when they stopped to chat with the 2 women. One of them, not a fan of handbags under pressure, allegedly tossed theirs into the bushes, and both women made a run for it. Unfortunately for them, some well-trained officers were able to apprehend them a short distance away. A search of the discarded handbag allegedly contained a handgun, methamphetamine and 45 mils of liquid fantasy. Nearby, a shopping bag also believed to have been discarded by the pair was also discovered, and that was holding a whopping 3.5 litres of liquid fantasy.
Crikey.
Next time they hit the shops, we hope they hit for twisties and cherry ripes and not drugs. The women, both aged 33 from Whites Valley and Marion, were arrested and charged with possessing a firearm without a licence, trafficking a controlled drug and trafficking a large commercial quantity of controlled drug. They've been refused bail and will appear in the Christie's Beach Magistrates Court today.
3.5 litres. That's a large quantity.
That's a very, very large quantity. Yep. Hence a large commercial quantity of controlled drug, and they're in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, they certainly are. Good on you, Pete. Sergeant Pete Williams there from SAPOL.
Been looking forward to this next chat. Teresa Brown is the founder and CEO of Play It On, which is has been to this point a charity that provides funding to help kids from families that are doing it tough to be able to play their chosen sport. As we know, and as a lot of parents listening would know, pretty expensive to play sport these days. The fees, the equipment and so forth. Well, what Play It On do is they get secondhand gear and they sell it and they raise money to help people do that. Milestone in a concept like this has been the opening of its very first physical store. Teresa Brown joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Teresa, good morning to you.
Good morning, David and Will.
Hey, this is such a great idea, Teresa. As the father of 3 sons, all of whom play both soccer and football and also basketball, you need to almost take out a second mortgage to pay for all the gear and all of the tuition.
Yes, yeah. Things can really add up when you look at subsidies and if they're playing basketball, entry to stadiums. But, yeah, the equipment also can cost a lot.
Well, the thing is, though, that's right. But, you know, if you can afford it, you can complain about it and go, well, that's just the cost of having kids. But what about do you come in for the people who don't have the discretionary income to cover those costs?
Yeah, that's right. That's where I came up with the whole concept. Was I was working in an outer northern council, and I had families and caseworkers looking to say, hey, these kids are missing out on, can you help us find the money for some of those sports subsidies? And unfortunately, we couldn't do that. Often kids that represent the state can get a bit of help from councils, but there wasn't anything I could do back then. So I knew I wanted to do something, but it took a few years to work out what it was. And I thought maybe recycling sports gear and selling that, we could use the profits to help give subsidy fees to those that need it most. You know, in some areas, kids are participating at 50% less than what they are in other areas. And I just didn't think that was fair. So, yeah, that's what we do, is we look after particularly those kids that are missing out, and we can help towards their fees and also give them the equipment that they need.
So where is the actual store located? And also, for the benefit of our listeners, if they wanted to drop good quality secondhand sports gear off, can they just go in there and say, here's a box of boots and balls and bats and so on?
Yes, absolutely. We're at 560 North East Road, Holden Hill.
Yep.
They can come in and drop it off there, but there's also other donation sites around Adelaide, and you can see them on our website. And, there should be one closer if Holden Hill is a bit too far for them.
No, that's good. That's a really excellent idea. Teresa Brown, the founder and CEO of Play It On.
What a great concept. It's good. It's good that having a physical store is such a milestone in terms of this is an idea that works and that people are behind.
Well, mate, as you know with Rosie, part of the issue with kids is they grow so fast, particularly when they're under, even when they're teens, but between the ages of like 6 and 13, their feet almost change a size every year.
Oh, well, the boots are barely used.
You would have had shoes for Rosie where you go, I don't think she'd ever worn them.
Yep. Well, lots of clothes like that.
We've got. I can't think of a time where we got through more than one season with a pair of footy boots.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, that's probably 26 times.
Yep.
13 games, 13 trainings.
How many families
shoes that have been worn 26 times, and they cost you between $50 and $80 a level sport.
Yeah, makes so much sense. It's amazing it's taken this long for someone to make it work, but Teresa Brown has. Support them. The store's called Play it on.
Just Quality are your SA family-owned home improvement experts. Now's the time to get your home ready for summer in our big spring sale with free installation across a range of products, including outdoor blinds, roller shutters, plantation shutters, pergolas, artificial turf, decking and roof restorations. If you want the best quality, you want Just Quality Home Improvements. To take advantage of this limited time offer, book a free assessment on our website or
Just dial 1300 813.
Hey, it's Lauren here from Adelaide. Wouldn't you love a reward just for shopping at your local Star Discount chemist? Become a Superstar Rewards member to earn points, receive birthday vouchers and more. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help? Earn and redeem points on eligible purchases. Visit website for full terms and conditions.
Now you're looking for the perfect day trip, a place that caters for groups, a place that can offer set price lunches including a hot Dutch lunch, coffee or tea and a slice of homemade cake.
Well, the Netherlands, perfect for a day trip. And by the Netherlands, of course, I'm talking about the Dutch Pantry in Klemzig. It's like a little Dutch village where you find authentic Dutch products, fresh produce, freshly baked cakes, and a cafe bursting with delicious Dutch meals for brekkie, brunch or lunch.
So if you're a coordinator or a carer looking for new experiences for a group, give Ange a call and ask about her set menu option.
And while you're there, take a leisurely stroll past the windmill, admire the tulips and the collection of Delft Blue. Experience the Netherlands right here in SA at the Dutch Pantry located on OG Road, Klemzig.
Just look for the big windmill.
Australians deserve a stronger pharmaceutical benefits scheme, one that is faster, fairer and fit for the future. Did you know it has been 30 years since the PBS was reviewed? In that time, science and medicines have made significant advancements, but our process for getting Australians access to these advancements is letting us down. If you would like to do your part to help all Australians waiting to access critical medicines, simply visit strongerpbs.com.au today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 19 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A pedestrian was struck by a car at a Port Augusta shopping centre car park yesterday and has passed away in hospital. The 58-year-old woman hit by a Mazda at lunchtime. Sergeant Peter Williams says charges have been laid.
The driver of the Mazda, a 23-year-old woman, was arrested and charged with causing death by dangerous driving. She's been refused bail and she will appear into the Port Augusta Magistrates Court today.
Jamestown was given a shake last night. A magnitude 2.3 earthquake was recorded shortly before 8 p.m. More than 40 people reporting it to Geoscience Australia. Support for opposition leader Susan Lee has fallen, with just 33% of voters rating her performance as good. The Resolve political monitor showing an 8% drop from last month. But Deputy Liberal leader Ted O'Brien is not concerned.
Oh, look, polls up and down. At the end of the day, it's like watching the stock market and your shares. What really matters is core business, and core business for us is keeping Australians safe.
The Albanese government will meet social media bosses today, 2 months before new restrictions kick in. More from Michael Packey.
From December 10, social media platforms will have to ban under-16s from accessing their service. The world-leading move is designed to ensure kids are less exposed to online trolls and violence. Communications Minister Annika Wells will today meet officials from Meta, Snapchat, TikTok and YouTube. She'll meet with X next month. The organisations will be asked to provide the Minister and E-Safety Commissioner with details on their plans to implement the age ban. The government says it won't accept any excuses and will work with the companies to make sure they're ready to go.
The Trump administration says the president will greet the 20 living Israeli hostages when they're handed over. Donald Trump will travel to the Middle East to commemorate the ceasefire. He'll leave the US shortly. Israeli government spokesperson Shosh Bedrosian says plans for the release have been locked in.
We are expecting all 20 of our living hostages to be released together at one time to the Red Cross.
And it's back to school today. Term 4 gets underway. The final term is 9 weeks long, with public school students wrapping up for the year on Friday, December 12. Now Now turning to 5AA sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. It could be moving day as the AFL's trade period counts down to deadline day on Wednesday. The Giants in Melbourne are looking to complete a trade for Clayton Oliver, while Essendon captain Zach Merritt is still yet to officially request a trade to Hawthorn. The Crows are yet to get the deal done to get Callum Archie to the club. Well, let's go to cricket now, and skipper Alyssa Healy has put in a starring performance to help Australia record its greatest ever run chase in a one-day international. Chasing 331 to win, the Aussies got the target with 3 wickets in hand and 1 over to spare. Healy outstanding opening the batting.
Oh, and it's easy as you like. Alyssa Healy, first for her as captain. What a disciplined effort from her today.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Healy finished with 142 from just 107 balls, while Annabelle Sutherland continued her great tournament with the ball, picking up 5 wickets. Well, Matt Payne has stormed from 18th on the grid to win a chaotic Bathurst 1000. It's being regarded as one of the best editions of the great race, as wild weather wreaked havoc and toppled several race favourites on Mount Panorama. Payne's co-driver Garth Tander says he's pinching himself after claiming a 6th Peter Brock trophy.
As a young kid growing up, racing go-karts in Perth, just getting the opportunity to race here was an honour, let alone have success. So to sit here now with 6 is, you'd never dream it.
Yeah, an amazing performance from him as well. And Melbourne United remains undefeated in the NBL after cruising to a 35-point win yesterday. And that's the 5AA sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. A Paraka crash to look out for this morning. Montague Road, New Main North Road. Breakdown getting cleaned up at the moment at Ingle Farm. Maxwell Road near Bridge Road. Surprisingly busy already this morning to Flinders Park. That's for the intersection upgrade of Grange Road and Holbrooks Road. Good news if you're coming in from the south this morning. The new on and off ramps at Majors Road and the Southern Expressway have opened up over the weekend, making the drive-in easier from Shadow Park, Trot Park and Hallett Cove this morning. Got a camera, Anzac Highway, Ashford. Notice someone with a blue nail? They're not just making a statement, they're taking a stand. Donate at polishman.com and help end violence against women and children. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA weather, 19 for your Monday, partly cloudy, a possible morning shower tomorrow, 21, Wednesday sunny and 28, Thursday a possible storm, 27. Right now it's 12 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
And now the marriage vow is very sacred.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes after 7. Good morning to you if you're joining us for the very first time on this Monday, the 13th of October. 19 the top today. That's notable this week. It'll be the last time for the next 7 days, at least on the forecast that we have, where the maximum is below 20 degrees. Warm sort of a week with some real warm spots coming up, and indeed into next weekend as well. Maybe some rain, maybe even a thunderstorm on Wednesday. We might get everything. Real spring sort of a week this week that you're waking up to. 5AA breakfast this morning. You're waking up in the middle of a conversation about family traditions. We crossed to Bathurst a little bit earlier. Sam Daddo was on the line. He's been to...
The whole Daddo family.
The whole Daddo family have been to Bathurst. Bar once for COVID, every Bathurst since 2002. Great tradition. We're talking
mum, dad, brother.
The places you went on holidays as kids with your family, your traditional destinations are what we've been talking about in the first hour, and you can win yourself a voucher to the Ausasia Festival Lucky Dumpling Market. Coming up this hour on the program, we're going to talk about enlisting surf lifesavers to monitor the algal bloom and also speed limits, both in terms of how they're applied and how confusing they are outside of schools, but also a little tidbit in the Tizer this morning about the fixed and mobile speed camera hotspots. And one of them especially irritates me as a Western Suburbs person, and I bet there's more on the list that'll irritate you in your neck of the woods. So check it out just inside the paper and give us a call. Taplings Hill Road, West Beach. Fixed speed camera that catches everyone where they unnecessarily drop the speed limit.
From 70 to 60.
From 80 to 60.
80 to 60.
80 to 60.
That's right.
And now we're dining out on the fact that people are, oh, that's right, I've been doing that for the last 20 years of my life, but
It's not a real hot spot for accidents, is it?
Well, I'd be interested to see if there are more or fewer accidents.
We should check this out. I wonder, so Victoria, of course, with their love of state power over there, they've got a camera, these new mega cameras that can detect all in one. So, and it's got, you dead set, you look at it, it looks like a fly's eyeball when you're up close. So it's got all these different cameras on top of each other. It does mobile phone use. It does not wearing seatbelts. It does red lights. It does speed. It does everything rolled into one. It's made by this American company, and they've rolled it out. And I was just looking at it thinking, you know what they need in Victoria? They need a camera that catches people running through shopping malls with machetes hacking each other to death. They're not interested in doing that, but they're quite happy to go after the soft targets of people who are absent-mindedly doing 67 in a 60 zone, not defending it. You know, we know what the speed limits are. We should abide by them. However, there really are two bunches of people, saps like us, who when we get fined $1,700, you know what I'm going to say, you just go, well, okay, where's my credit card? You know, unfortunately, we can't go to court and say, look, my client, he did forget to register his car, but he had a terrible childhood. He saw some appalling things in a refugee camp, and he's suffering from anxiety. So he just can't pay the fine.
I simply offer this by way of the defence argument here. Have you seen the Victorian state budget? They need to find people for their thoughts, swear words,
fashion points.
Anything goes at the moment.
Crocs and socks, $500.
Exactly right. All right, let's head to the Middle East. Jacqueline Robson for 7 News is in Tel Aviv, which is going to be a remarkable next 24 hours, I imagine. Jacqueline, good morning to you. What's the process by which hostages will be returned to their family? Do we even know at this point in time, and how far away are we from that becoming a reality?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Well, the process will be that Hamas hands over the 20 living hostages to Red Cross, and those Red Cross workers will then take them to the IDF, where there will be a doctor waiting to check them over, and then, depending on how poor their condition, they'll likely be airlifted to 3 separate hospitals here in Israel. And there has been some leaked information that the Red Cross has actually seen those hostages and has reported that they are in a very poor condition. We know they've been in those tunnels underneath Gaza for 736 days now. I mean, Hostages Square, it's where people have gathered to support the hostages, and there's a clock that's been counting how long they've been there. They hope to pull that down tomorrow morning local time. In Australia, it's looking like it could be 4 p.m, and we just have to wait and see. It's a very fluid operation dealing with a terrorist organisation. It's a real operation. It is underway, and they are expecting to bring back 20 living hostages. There are 28 that did not survive captivity. They will be brought back, we understand, in a separate process. It may not be all at once.
What about the ones who've died, Jacqueline? What are they going to do with them, and how are they going to be returned to their families?
Well, they'll be returned in a similar process. It's very important for the Jewish people, for burials, so they want to get the remains home. But it's been quite the process to actually finding their remains. Hamas has said that they haven't been able to find all of them. People have been moving around the enclave trying to gather what they can. 28 are believed, or 28 haven't survived captivity. It's just a matter of actually finding them to get them back to their families for a burial.
Mm. And after this, what happens with the Hamas-linked prisoners who are being released? Do you know off the top of your head, Jacqueline, how many there are?
I believe there will be, it's in the order of hundreds.
Yeah.
And that prisoner exchange will happen after the hostages arrive back on Israeli soil. So once Israel knows that it has its living hostages back, then they will hand back the Palestinian prisoners.
That's a bit of a swallow hard moment for Israel, isn't it? Because there's some of those people have done some pretty serious things, and I guess they just got to hope against hope that they come out and treat their freedom as a chance to go about things a different way.
Yeah, well, Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, has really been backed into a corner here. He has to take this deal. It's not the deal he would have wanted. They don't want to see these Palestinian prisoners released. They will see that as a loss. I think the community does see this as a loss. Benjamin Netanyahu promised to extinguish Hamas, wipe them out, and that certainly hasn't happened. Even today, there are reports of 7,000 Hamas fighters re-emerging in the areas that are no longer controlled by the IDF. The IDF has moved back, now controlling 50% of the enclave, and there has been clashes between Hamas fighters and local clans in that area that has been released by the IDF. So it's a very fluid situation. It'll come under the next phase of this peace plan, which will be far more difficult than what we've seen happen since that peace agreement was agreed to.
Great report. Jacqueline Robertson there in Tel Aviv for 7 News.
All right, let's head to St Clair because Diane's on the line. Diane, you've got a family traditional destination that you guys always used to go to. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Yes, absolutely. Myself, my two sisters and my mother and father always, since I was a small primary school child, went to store gift every April at Easter time. Dad bought a army tent from the disposal shop in Mount Gambier and stretchers and sleeping bags, and we had a small caravan. So Mum and Dad slept in the small caravan. Us three girls would sleep in the camp stretchers in the big army tent. And then when we grew up as teenagers, we had boyfriends. We brought them with us too, and they had to buy camp stretchers as well. And then we got engaged and got married. And when we had our first children, they all came with us as well. So it went on for years, but we just loved the store gift.
How good. What an unusual tradition.
It's a brilliant tradition.
It's good.
Diane, thank you for calling in. You're in the running to win that terrific food and beverage voucher for the Lucky Dumpling Market that you can use on Nancho Man, Spice Kitchen 89, Suki Lala, Gang Gang and Kai Desserts. You can taste the flavours of Asia at the Lucky Dumpling Market, Adelaide's springtime food and entertainment hub, 17th of October to the 9th of November. Visit luckydumplingmarket.com for more information. Speaking of families, it is technically the start of term 4 in schools this morning, certainly this week, and the opposition are warning that the return to school on our roads could be the source of some confusion. Heidi Girolamo is the Shadow Minister for Education. Heidi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will.
So we had a chat to the Minister the other day, Heidi, about the 40-kilometre limit that's being brought in. Well, it's only being brought in at 3 schools to start with. Do you think that if it's such a good idea and that they're going to do it at 3 schools, wouldn't it make more sense to do it at every school?
Well, I think it's concerning that it's only 3 schools at this stage. We know that there's a lot of concern for many parents around speed limits around schools. There is, I guess, the thought that it could be rolled out across the board, but I think what the government needs to do is have a look at schools individually to make sure that they are safe. Changing a speed limit is one thing, but do they need better infrastructure, better signage, better support for crossings as well? Because a lot of parents are very concerned when they drop their children off to school that they may not be safe. So there's a lot to be done in that space, and I do think that it's concerning that the government's made this announcement with a distinct lack of detail and a lack of clarity for a lot of parents as well of when these will be rolled out, and also whether any of the schools have been consulted about these changes. My understanding is that when the changes come through that they'll be effective immediately as well. So there won't be a lot of warning for parents as well that the changes will be happening. And also what changes will they be? Will it be 25, 40, 60? We just don't know at this stage. And I think that more needs to be done to make sure that parents are aware of these changes and making sure that the right changes are made for these schools.
In terms of the policing of it, has there been any indication, Heidi, that you're aware of that the government's going to be enforcing it through SAPOL too?
Yes, my understanding is that it will be immediate through SAPOL, that fines will be issued from the first day. That's another concern in itself, that there needs to be that warning, the notification that these changes are coming. There is the announcement around the 150 schools, but there's also 800 schools across the state. So I don't understand why these schools are being chosen over others and what the timing is for the rollout of these other schools as well. But fines will certainly be issued, my understanding is, from the first day, and that's another concern, that we need to make sure that parents have this clarity and then that there is that understanding that these fines will be issued. And what I do hope that is it's not just used to make more money out of parents, that it is actually there for safety, to making sure that that children are kept safe as they're going to school. But changing the speed limit is one thing, but there's also a need for a lot more clarity over why these speed limits need to be changed, and also making sure that the infrastructure is in place across these crossings as well.
Shadow Education Minister Heidi Girolamo, thank you for joining us this morning. Hey, Will, are you a Qantas frequent flyer?
I think I get points. Why is that?
Aren't there about 5 million of us who are Qantas frequent flyers? You just join up when you buy your ticket.
Do you mean as my data been posted on the dark web?
Yeah. I can never remember my dreams. I woke up bolt upright in bed at 3:30 this morning having this dream that I had to change every single password that I've got because of the data hacking thing through my Qantas site. And I was at a bank, and I was saying, "No, you are not David Penberthy." It was like this. It was like this Franz Kafka movie. But you think about it: if someone can get your email, your home address, your phone number, what else is there? There's no passport numbers,
no bank details,
and no credit card numbers, but everything else: your age, your date of birth, your address, your phone. You can almost start. Well, you can't almost start. You can start creating an identity off the back of that, can't you?
Yeah. Can you?
Well, they have the 100-point check for things, and normally, like, I think 50 is the passport. That's the biggie. So they haven't got the
driver's license.
So you can't quite do it. But you've got enough sort of Play-Doh there to have a bit of a crack at registering, maybe for shopping purposes. You certainly know enough about someone to ruin their day.
Yeah, I wonder if we got anyone who's been victim of something like that, where someone's created a fake version of you based on publicly available information. I wonder if the truth that the tech heads don't want to acknowledge is that the vast majority of people now go, well, who hasn't had their data posted on the dark web somewhere? And if hundreds of millions of people have, is it worth my time to change all my passwords, given how unlucky I'd be to be the victim of it?
Yeah.
I actually reckon...
Have you ever looked at your password manager on your phone and it says this has appeared in a data breach?
Yes.
Most of them have, haven't they?
Yes. I've got an inkling...
password one. I should have seen that one coming.
I've got this funny feeling that as humans, maybe as Australians, we go, that data breach is what a disaster. I'm not changing my passwords. Stuff that. It'll take me forever. I think both of those things happen.
Yeah, I think that's right.
All right, let's check traffic, which is not the recommendation, obviously.
No.
You change it, encrypt it.
Two-factor authentication.
Two-factor authentication.
Yeah,
well,
so
two-factor is actually good for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
However,
it's good for things like MyGov.
Do you know who passwords prevent from getting into stuff most of the time? Me. How many times I've sat at my computer at 7 and I've gone, I literally have no idea what's going to be on the news tonight because I can't remember a stupid password. Happens because they make you.
Rosanna's done the news on her own.
She's sitting there. I've had a blank look on my face. And going, can't help you tonight. People thought I had a week off the other week. I just couldn't log in. Help Australians way to access critical medicines by visiting strongerpbs.com.au for more information.
Morning there, a crash to look out for Paraka getting cleaned up at the moment. No great delays though. Montague Road near Main North Road. Breakdown getting sorted at Engle Farm. Maxwell Road near Bridge Road. Busy already for those works at Flinders Park Range Road and Holbrooks Road. And good news if you're around the Shadow Park or Trop Park area today. The new on and off ramps are up and running on the Southern Expressway near Majors Road. Should make the drive in a bit easier this morning. Early morning camera at North East Road, St Agnes. Get more for your 4x4 at opposite Lock Adelaide's 3-day sale. Save on selected bull bars, roof racks and more. Only on October 16 to 18. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
Premier Peter Malinauskas has been recognised nationally for his leadership, winning the prestigious McKinnon Prize for Political Leadership in the State and Territory category.
Graham Goodings.
They also commended his success in bringing major sporting events such as Gather Round and Live Golf to the state. We are being recognised nationally and internationally as a place to do business and certainly as a place to live.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Some things are worth waiting for, like tickets to your favourite concert, waiting for a nice bottle of Red to breathe, or waiting for the kids to finally unpack the dishwasher. But waiting to get your air conditioner serviced just before summer or winter really hits? It's just not worth the pain. Get in touch with Morford Air now for servicing or a new system. Put it at the top of your to-do list. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford.
Now, without a doubt, the biggest contributor to the swear jar at Boyabin Bathrooms and Kitchens is the big man, David Cox himself. Now, Coxie swears that you can rely on the integrity and expertise of his dedicated team for your kitchen or bathroom renovation.
And Coxie's been joined by new swearers, including Mark the Tiler. Now, Mark swears to greet you with a smile and to be millimetre perfect with his tiling.
And Renette knows how to swear, a designer of 20 years with Boyabin. Renette swears to listen to your ideas and help create a functional space for you. And you should hear some of the stuff that comes out of Rick the plumber's mouth. Rick swears to always be on time and clean up after himself.
They're all at it. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see By Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Woolco pool blanket now. Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Woolco pool blanket. Visit woolco.com.au.
Doing day-to-day things online has made our lives easier. Paying bills, shopping, banking. It all makes perfect sense to do online. But what doesn't make sense is doing your will online. It's fraught with potential problems and can leave a mess behind. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes properly. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Stephen Rowe on 5AA Breakfast.
Monday morning, big week in the football world ahead with the culmination of the AFL's trade period. As there could be any late surprises, big weekend of sport as well. Stephen Rowe's on to review and preview it all. Rowie, good morning to you.
Pembo, well, good morning. Yep, you're right. There's still 19, looming players' trades to get done. The trade period closes Wednesday night, 7:30pm. There's Petrarca, Curnow, Merritt, Oliver. We're not getting any of them, so who cares? The one the Crows need done is Calamar Chi. And the Lions, well, I reckon they're writing cheques they can't cash. It's a second round at best, guys. Come on already.
Yeah. What is the latest, Rowie? What's the hold up? Is it just the Brisbane are asking for too much?
Well, I think so. Look, he is a terrific player. He's not a star. He's a two-time premiership player, but he's still not a star. He is a great player that will fit into their team and ours. And he's not a first rounder. They know it. We know it. He's an early second rounder at most. We're going to do a future second. That's on the table. The Crows have all the bargaining here, so they don't need to blink because the kid's out of contract. Now, no one wants to walk a lad to the pre-season draft because there's a chance someone else can get it. So I think there's goodwill that they both want to get it done, but one's here and one's there, and somewhere in the middle they'll meet. They'll get it done. But yeah, it on the surface to me was an easy one, but someone's dug their toes in, obviously.
How much of this is PR, Rowie? Because I always get the sense when you lose a player, we know how these things ultimately wrap up, and it will wrap up with 10 minutes to go before the trade period ending. How much of it is about them, the Brisbane Lions, saying to their supporter base, well, look, we're not being pushed around. We play hardball. Like, I think everyone knows what the trade's going to be. It'll be some version of a future second rounder and some other, back-end pick type stuff. So, I mean, it's all just window dressing for the masses, isn't it?
Well, 100%. And I think that's probably 80% of it. They would have known day one what it was worth. Actually, before the trade period even started, they would have had a list management meeting. This is Brisbane and the Crows. They would have said, well, here's the value. Here's where it's at. Here's what's happened in previous years. Here's where it should land. And let's just sit firm. And that's what they're doing. Yeah. It is. Window dressing's a good word for it because they've got to. They've got to look good and strong. And let's remember that all of these 18 clubs all have to trade either next year, the year after with each other. They've all done trades before, so there's a lot of goodwill that's in this, and that becomes the real, what would you call it, the real talent of your list manager to how good he is at dealing, how good he is and how respectful he is in dealing with other clubs, and that's a lot of things. And then you've got to put the third party in there, and it's called a player manager, and all they have in their eyes is dollar signs.
Yeah, absolutely. Show me the money.
So it's a hard one, isn't it? Show me the money. Hey, can I move on? It looks like that's the only trade for Crows. Port's the same. Can I talk about our defending world champ cricket team? They beat India in a record chase down of 331. If you haven't watched women's cricket, do yourself a favour and go back on YouTube or whatever the hell it is that you do, social media. Watch Elisa Healy's. She top scored for 142. You have a look at how sweet they can cream the cod, mate. Their batting is exquisite. It was an amazing win. They are an amazing team. And then there's a girl called Elise Perry who's an all-rounder. She went off with cramp. She could not walk. So, what do you call it? Retired hurt, comes back, caresses the ball to the boundary. We win. God, they're good, those girls.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
No, they are. They are bloody unbelievable, that team. Yeah. Honestly, they are. Hey, last one, I went to the 36ers versus the Kings game Saturday night, looking for 4 straight.
You picked the wrong one.
Oh, my God. Well, I was a guest of Grant Kelly there, so it was nice and embarrassing for me because I got up and spoke to the masses before, and I said, Kendrick Davis, Suki Lala, I hope we wipe the floor with him. I hope we boo every possession. Well, they didn't get the AFL memo on no booing. They booed the gizzards out of him. And the more they booed him, the better he was. And he just wiped the floor with us, and I looked like a D-head, an absolute knob-nut D-head. Bryce Cotton couldn't draw you a basketball. And this Kendrick Davis wiped us. Oh, talk about an idiot.
Rowie.
You're a bit harsh.
It's an October loss. Don't take it to heart, Rowie.
Oh, but I'm sick of getting it wrong, guys.
You'll be right.
My emotion overwhelms the brain, and I'm thinking, there's no way Kendrick Davis is better than Bryce Cotton, but he was on Saturday night.
Let him enjoy their October premiership.
Oh, I know. Yeah, let him go. All right. Hey, Timmy will join us at 4. See you, man.
On your Rowie, mate.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 19 today with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
For the best price, quality and same-day service, trust Complete Windscreens. RAA approved, Main North Road, Prospect.
There's been a drug and weapons bust at Hackham West. Sergeant Peter Williams says it happened last night.
Just before 9:30 last night, patrol officers were patrolling along Village Road when they stopped to chat with the 2 women. One of them, not a fan of handbags under pressure, allegedly tossed theirs into the bushes, and both women made a run for it.
The pair were arrested nearby. A search of the area uncovered a shopping bag containing approximately 3.5 litres of fantasy. Police also searched the discarded handbag, allegedly finding a handgun, meth and an additional 45 mils of fantasy. The women, both aged 33, are facing a string of charges. There'll be a court appearance today following a death at Port Augusta. A 58-year-old woman was hit by a car at a shopping centre yesterday. She died later in hospital. A 23-year-old woman has been charged with causing death by dangerous driving. Latest knife crime stats are not worth celebrating, according to the state opposition. New data shows a fall in the first quarter of 2025-26. Shadow Police Minister Jack Batty says that may be the case, but there are still more than 100 knife crimes a week.
These are shocking statistics, frankly, that I think underscore the extent of Labor's knife crime problem. It's a really strange time for the government to be taking a victory lap, which I think is a bit of a slap in the face to victims of crime right across the state.
The US president is en route to the Middle East to commemorate the ceasefire. Donald Trump is expected to greet the 20 living Israeli hostages held captive by Hamas when they're handed over. He'll then travel to Egypt for an international peace summit in Cairo. Speaking to reporters on the tarmac as he boarded Air Force One, Mr. Trump says it's an historic occasion.
Everybody's very excited about this moment in time, so I'll see you on the plane. I think you're traveling with us, but this is a very special event. There are 500,000 people yesterday and today in Israel, and also the Muslim and Arab countries are all cheering.
A new campaign will start this week explaining the federal government's social media ban for under-16s. The Communications Minister will today hold talks with Australian bosses from Meta, Snapchat, YouTube and TikTok. The platforms will be asked to detail their preparations ahead of the age restrictions, which start December 10. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. We'll start with motorsport. Matt Payne has claimed his maiden Bathurst 1000 crown after a dramatic finish on a wet and wild day at Mount Panorama. The Kiwi star crossed the line second but was awarded the victory following a late penalty to James Golding. Well, the Aussie women's cricket team remain undefeated at the World Cup thanks to a stunning 142 from captain Alyssa Healy, who helped the side chase down a record 331 against the hosts India. The Aussies sit on top of the group stages after 4 games played. Well, the countdown is on to the world's richest turf race with the racing of the Everest this weekend at Randwick. Champion trainer Chris Waller has 3 runners, telling Nine's Today Show they'll have a challenge on their hands to take down the favourite.
Kaying Rising from Hong Kong. He's a superstar. He's the highest rated sprinter in the world at the moment, so we've got to lower his colours on Saturday afternoon.
It's going to be big. Just 3 rounds to go in the AFLW competition, and Adelaide sitting on the cusp of the top 4 after their 17-point win against West Coast. But they face the undefeated North Melbourne next weekend, while Port Adelaide's finals hopes look shot after going down to Brisbane by 29 points. To netball, Australia's made a clean sweep of South Africa in their 3-game series, winning the 3rd game here in Adelaide 65-42. But there's not much time to celebrate for the Diamonds, who now switch their focus to the Constellation Cup series, which begins against New Zealand on Friday night in Melbourne. Coach Stacey Marinkovic admitting her players need some time to reset.
It's a pretty short turnaround, and the next couple of days we'll just have a little bit of a rest. The girls do have at least 1 or 2 days off just to be able to step out of the netball environment and I guess check out.
Yeah, let's hope they can reset and go again. Mel, that is the 5AA Sport.
Thank you very much. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Roads looking really good for the run-in today. We're accident breakdown free. Busy in the usual spots this morning. Fitzroy Tourist North Adelaide, a little bit slow, starting to build at Flinders Park for the ongoing works of Grange Road and Holbrooks Road, and slow going at the moment, Marion Road at Anzac Highway. Good news if you're around Trot Park, Hallicove or Shadow Park, the new on and off ramps on the Southern Expressway at Majors Road are operating, should make the drive in a little bit easier this morning. Cameras Crossroad, Clarence Park and Stradbroke Road at Athelston. Penrite Oil, proudly Australian owned and made, driving innovation in lubricants for cars, bikes and trucks and industry since 1926. Penrite Oil, 100 years, still driven. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, 19 today, partly cloudy, a possible morning shower tomorrow, 21. A warm one on Wednesday, sunny and 28. Thursday, a possible storm, 27. Right now, it's 12 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
He's got his hoodie up and his head down.
scrolling through his feed while strolling across the road. He's testing his luck and his new headphones. Then suddenly, he's testing your brakes too. Stop and take time to ensure your car stops in time and the brakes are all you hit. Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Is stress making your muscles tense and your nights restless? Caruso's new Super Magnesium Plus Ashwagandha to the rescue. With 6 forms of magnesium, Caruso's Super Magnesium Plus Ashwagandha supports muscle relaxation, relieves symptoms of stress and promotes deep sleep. So if you're tired of tense muscles and sleepless nights and can't wait for calm, comfort and peaceful relaxation, try Caruso's Super Magnesium Plus Ashwagandha today. From leading pharmacies and health stores, always read the label and follow the directions for use.
If you've received a letter from a company called Home, don't toss it out. You could be throwing away a rare and golden opportunity. Home is a South Australian-based company with Crows legend Daniel Talia at the helm, and put simply, they buy homes.
So, look, if you have got a letter, Daniel and his team, they're deadly serious about buying your property and they'll offer you market value. Here's the best part, though. No advertising fees, no agent commissions, just a straightforward, stress-free sale that could save you thousands.
Selling your home doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Home make it easy by handling everything for you so you can focus on your next move. And with flexible settlement terms, you'll have all the time you need to find your next home.
To find out more, just visit home.com.au. That's haume.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
If your current job is driving you bonkers, get outdoors and hit the road. ACET Transport Solutions is growing and they need more drivers to keep their promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that'll take you places, get in touch with the team at ACET Transport Solutions. Visit acettransport.au.
Don't just send it, ACET.
Fluorio Milk Company will always put SA first, and you can too. When you reach for milk, reach for Fluorio Milk Company products and support our dairy farmers and their families. We guarantee that all our milk is 100% South Australian and it's always fresh. We have over 24 refrigerated trucks shipping Fluorio milk to cafes, restaurants and supermarkets all over SA. Look for the local in your supermarket. Fluorio Milk Company. We're for SA dairy farmers.
Separation, parenting disputes, property division. Family law is emotional and complex, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Ben Thilthorpe from BTD Lawyers, and we're here to stand with you. With professional expertise, personal service and proven results, we'll guide you through every step with care, clarity and confidence. Book your obligation-free consultation today. Barbara Thilthorpe Daniel Lawyers, specialising in family law. Visit btdlawyers.au.
With hoodie up and head down, he's crossing the road, testing his new headphones. And then he's testing your brakes too. Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
19 to 8. Daniel on the Police Home Care text line makes the observation. So Rowi's kiss of death works across multiple sports. Can't we move him interstate and get him to infiltrate and support opposition teams?
Yeah,
well, there's an
right.
idea. Rowie can talk up the chances of... in fact, he should do it for charity.
Yeah.
If you pay $1,000 to Rowie...
I'll talk to the editor of the Geelong Advertiser and see if we can have some
get him
sort
a column.
Get him a column, why the Cats are definitely going to...
He can be on K-Rock.
Again. Yeah, then he can go to Brisbane. K-Rock. K-Rock. Get him to do a couple of weekends. Well, there's a vacancy now that Joffa's in prison. He could go... I'm not sure if he is. He's no longer with the cheer squad. Something happened. But he could go and sit with the black and white army.
It would be the irresistible force versus the immovable object.
He'd raise the IQ.
Geelong v Rowie.
Yeah.
Well, Collingwood is it? Well, Collingwood less successful than Geelong, but I like it as a concept, Daniel. Keep them coming through. Police Home Care text line 048008 1395. What do we think of this as a concept? Surf lifesaving patrols will this summer be inspecting beaches for the algal bloom. They're going to be looking for signs of it, discoloured water, foam. There will be additional patrols as a result of as well to make sure that when you're swimming between the flags, it's not just safe in terms of all the usual arrangement of things that surf lifesavers are keeping an eye on, but the algal bloom now, an extra one. Damien Marangon is the CEO of Surf Lifesaving SA and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Damien, good morning to you.
Good morning, gents. Thanks for having me again.
Not at all, Damien. Always great to catch up with you, mate. So how do the surf lifesaving community feel about sort of becoming, enlisted as foot soldiers in the fight against algae?
Well, I'm not sure it's to that extent, and I think that's why we were pretty keen to come on air today and to do some media to make sure that the role that we're going to play is really well understood. As a community-focused organisation, there's no doubt our people want to be a part of this and they want to help, but really our role is to do what we've always done, which is to provide the safest place to swim. And so the way we're going to do that with this latest announcement is with 8 additional patrols from Monday to Friday. Our team of lifesavers and lifeguards will go to set locations, but if those locations aren't appropriate for swimming, then we will look to find locations that are more suitable. I think a really key message too, gents, that I'd love to get across today, and sadly on the weekend I know a few of our surf lifesavers copped a bit of heat just from some people really just saying some things to them they probably shouldn't have. But what we know is that when the weather warms up, absolutely people will flock back to our beaches. And so the role of surf lifesaving is and always has been to be there for the public. And so that's the role we intend to play again this summer.
What sort of flack were they copping? How on earth could anyone blame, someone from a surf lifesaving club for anything that's been going on?
Well, I think, as we know, things like this can often be very polarising. And when people aren't doing the things that they think you should, i.e. why are they on the beach, it causes some people to become angry. And I think that's the really sad bit in this. And it's
what people? Who's angered by the surf lifesavers being in the vicinity?
There were photos being taken of our team because they shouldn't be there, and by being there, they're actively, openly encouraging people to swim. And I do understand that point.
Hang on, just to be clear, so there are people that are angry at your guys being there because they think no one should be swimming at the moment. Is that right?
Correct. Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
well, that's just moronic.
And so it's really tricky because, again, if you think of the opposite to that, gents, which is, okay, well, let's not be on the beach. And what happens then when the people who go to the beach get into trouble?
Well, yeah, sure.
So we're going to keep showing up for the public. It's what we do. It's what we've always done. And so with these additional patrols, a really important element of them is that they're going to be mobile. And so, yes, there'll be 8 teams, and yes, they'll like to start at those 8 really popular destinations. But if the conditions aren't great for swimming, we're going to move. And I think the added layer of that Beach Safe app, which really is a wonderful app to give parents and people the tools they need to make good decisions, that will tell people exactly where the red and yellow flags are and where they're not. So it's just another layer, we hope, to keep more people safe this summer.
David, are you clear on what are the parameters around, or what is the definition of the water being okay to swim in? Is it the total absence of any evidence of algae? Is it, it's a little bit foamy, but it's not too foamy? Does it need to be foam up onto the footpath like we've seen down at Henley Beach before? Like, what's the appropriate amount of algae that, your guys will say you can or can't swim?
Yeah, do you know, I actually think there's not a right answer to that at the moment, if I'm being truthful. I think the health advice talks about foam and discoloured water. Our lifesavers are noting lots of other things as the public around smell, potentially deceased sea life. I think what our lifesavers are going to do is we're going to use an array of information to try to make really informed decisions. Some of those we'll get direct feedback from the beach cleanup crews that start really early in the morning, run from roughly 6 till 9. We're going to have our own coastal safety camera network, and we're accelerating that rollout so we've got eyes on the water all the time. We're obviously doing some of our own modelling based on what the government and they're testing at, I think, is it up to 91 sites now? So and we've also created and updated our own risk rating app we have, which feeds in a number of the elements that I've just talked about, as well as prevailing weather conditions and a whole heap of things. So we're going to do our best with all the advice available to us to try to do what we always do, and that is find the safest place to swim.
Damien, do you worry that, and I would imagine there might have been conversations about this, do you worry that the Surf Lifesaving organisation could become the meat in the sandwich in a situation where, to flip it around, I mean, yesterday people arcing up thinking that nobody should be swimming. Is there a sort of reversed scenario where, say, it's 30 degrees and it's January the 2nd and everyone in and around Seacliff goes, oh, yeah, perfect beach day, let's go down to Seacliff. We know Seacliff's one metropolitan beach that has had a lot of algal bloom. Could the SLSCs be in a position where they have to say, look, in our view, today the beach should be closed, where you could end up having to shut beaches and you'll be like the mayor in Jaws, being with the sort of baying crowd going, we want to swim, let us swim.
Yeah. Look, I think there's a really delicate role for us to play here, right? And so you're right, whether we like it or not, we're in a position where the public are going to look to us and the government as well. So, but we're really clear on what we're doing and how we do it and why we do it. So, yeah, I can see moments where the club make decisions to not put the patrol flags up, and it's already happened. So on the first weekend of patrols, one of our patrols didn't feel that the water was safe based on that government advice, and so they didn't put the flags up. But what we did, we stayed, we had a presence, we put signs up to tell the public and inform them, and our lifesavers spoke to the public. I still think the odd person went for a swim and, excuse me, our lifesavers were there for them. So I know this sounds strange. The summer is going to be quite similar for us in so many ways because it's what we've always done. We've always tried to assess the risk and acknowledge there's less of a risk here. But in the eastern states with waves and rips and currents, that they're making decisions every minute and every hour.
Yeah, sure.
Of whether and so that's the sort of the mindset that we're taking. But yeah, there's a delicate role for us to play here.
Yeah. Well, I think the important takeout, particularly on the basis of the anecdote you told about yesterday, is no one should be passing any forthright judgment or indeed any judgment on volunteers like yours who are simply out there trying to keep everybody safe. Good on you, Damien. Damien Marangon, the CEO of Surf Lifesaving SA.
Andrew's called in on 822 300 Morning to you, Andrew.
G'day, man. I was hoping to speak to Damien, but that's okay. I'm just baffled that why aren't they using live cams? So as us surfers, we've been using, let's say, SwellNet, which has a dozen or more live cams along our mid-south coast, down on the on the south coast at Middleton and Goolwa and Kyneton, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that technology is so cheap, and they've been doing it for 20-odd years. I almost get the impression the government don't want us to see those images of foamy beaches. And then the other thing is, you imagine a beautiful blue sky, sunny day, 38 degrees, whatever else, dead calm, glassy. The danger still lurks. So I figure they should have rapid testing. None of this 24-hour stuff. They should be able to test it straight away. Maybe they do it at 5 a.m. and then they can forewarn people. But I just sense that, like you mentioned, David, that Surf Life Saving are perhaps being used as a wedge between government and the public, given there's an election coming.
Thank you, Andrew. 822 300 our number, or you can text us on the Police Home Care text line. We're going to check traffic and come back with more in just a moment. Help Australians waiting to access critical medicines by visiting strongerpbs.com.au for more information.
Morning there. We're accident breakdown free today, so that's a nice way to get into a Monday, isn't it? A few things to look out for. A little bit busy at the moment at Fitzroy Tourist North Adelaide. A little bit slow South Road Lander for the tram overpass works. Got kids back to school today, so look out for kids and speed restrictions around school areas. And good news, the new on and off ramps at O'Halloran Hill are operational at Majors Road on the Southern Expressway. Should make the drive in a little bit easier if you're coming in near Shadow Park or Trot Park this morning. Camera, Harvey Avenue, Netley. The brand new Glenelg BMW showroom is now open. All models on site to view and test drive to suit all lifestyles. So visit the team at 141 Brighton Road. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand.
Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Introducing the Caliente by Beechwood Homes. A multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Inspired by the effortless glamour of Palm Springs in California, it's bathed in natural light through clever architectural design. At its heart, a stunning 6-metre island bench anchors a kitchen that's as beautiful as it is functional. The Caliente is open for viewing at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm, Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 4:30pm. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Now, when it comes to making your next party something really special and comfortable, using one of those big tarps to block out the wind, well, it might make a bit of difference, but will it make a big difference? No way, Jose.
Absolutely not. For that, you need Big Difference Home Improvements, especially when it comes to outdoor blinds. Call Big Difference Home Improvements and see what a huge difference their outdoor blinds can make to your entertaining area, sun, rain, hail or shine. You can't muck around with outdoor blinds. You need them supplied and installed by pros like the team at Big Difference Home Improvements, because you'll love the end result and you'll love the outstanding service they provide.
Big Difference Home Improvements also make a big difference when it comes to roller shutters, carports, pergolas, verandas and stunning timber decks.
Don't make a difference, make a big difference. Visit bigdifference.com.au for a free measure and quote, or you can pop into their new showroom at Hendon, right next to West Lakes Mall.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
If only your favourite movie snack lasted as long as the movie. Cadbury Choc Tops. So good, they're guaranteed not to last. Find them in the supermarket ice cream freezer. Cadbury Choc Tops.
Here's an important air conditioning tip from Morford Air. Never give your teenagers control over the aircon remote. Your energy bills could go through the roof. Instead, for summer, set it around 21 degrees. It's the most energy efficient temperature. And if you turn it on early, before the teens are out of bed, your system will have less work to do, keeping your home cool all day. When it's too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air. morfordair.com.au.
Morford.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes to 8, the RAA's released some data that they've compiled, having a look at South Australian police data on speeding figures for the last financial year, and they found the top 10 hotspots for fixed speed cameras and mobile speed cameras. I'll read you out the top top 5 of each, okay? So the number one hotspot for fixed speed cameras is the Southeastern Freeway at Leewood Gardens. Number 2, Tapleys Hill Road at West Beach. Number 3, West Lakes Boulevard, West Lakes. Number 4, Goodwood Road, Pasadena. Number 5, Montague Road, Ingle Farm. So fixed speed cameras, those are your top 5 most lucrative.
The one at Goodwood Road, Pasadena, opposite where the excellent new Hurley pub is being constructed, that seems to be strategically placed at the bottom of the hill at Centennial Park.
Funny that. The top 10 mobile speed cameras, Grant Avenue, Rose Park, the North-South Motorway, Dry Creek, Bevington Road, Glenunga, Conningham Street, Glenside, and Aliffs Road, St Mary's. Matt Bachudes, the Senior Traffic Engineer of the RAA, joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Matt, what do you glean from this? David's first inclination was to say, that's funny, that Goodwood Road one at the bottom of the hill. I look at the Tapleys Hill Road, West Beach one and go, that's funny, that's where the speed limit just got dropped. Is there an appropriate balance, do you think, of safety priority v revenue priority?
Yeah, look, it's a really important thing for drivers to be aware of is their speed. We know that there's a strong link between that and the safety of road users, and especially vulnerable road users. So as we return to school today, it is a really important reminder for people to watch their speed, keep their eye on what they're travelling, and make sure that everybody does get to their destination safe. In a number of these locations, there is a demonstrated crash history which shows potentially serious incidents that can occur. And as we look at the data this year, we know that pedestrians and cyclists have made up well over half of lives lost in the metro area. So look, it is really important that people are sticking to the speed limits on these roads.
So, Matt, logic should then suggest that these 10 locations are the places that are also the site of the most accidents historically. Does that sort of gel?
Yeah, look, in some of these cases, certainly does. We look at the top location for fixed cameras on the southeastern freeway. We've seen so many tragic incidents in that location. And look, we do know that the speeds are adjusted when there's a collision or a breakdown or fog even. So it's really important that people in that location are adjusting their speeds when the digital signs are changing, because we do know that does catch people out from time to time. And then locations like on Tapley's Hill Road, where there has been a recent change, we have also been looking at the crash data and noticed a significant drop in the number of injuries that have happened along there. So, look, from that perspective, we have seen a positive safety improvement. But it is critical that speeds do make sense to drivers. In some instances, it might not be overly clear, where you might have a bit of an open road, but it is usually there for a reason, or it is there for a reason, because there is a level of crash history behind these locations.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Vitudes, Senior Traffic Engineer with RAA, thanks for joining us this morning.
Stick around, Breaking at 8, big one coming up in just a moment. It might answer some questions you've had outstanding from the last half an hour. And then after 8:30, if you've got any concerns about your data as a Qantas frequent flyer, because it's out there somewhere on the dark web. Who knows for what potential use? Well, we're going to try and find out after 8:30.
Tired of rising power bills? What if you could eliminate power bills forever? With NRG Solar, the new cheaper home batteries program gives eligible homes and businesses up to 30% off the cost of a new home battery, saving you thousands. NRG Solar has the know-how to help you claim the rebate and design a system that delivers real long-term value. Own your energy, own your future. Call 1300 858 160. That's 1300 858 160, or visit nrgsolar.com.au now.
Hi, it's Tom Burlinson here. Looking forward to returning to the gorgeous Capri Theatre in Goodwood, this time with a marvellous orchestra, in my show, Swingin' the Great Standards. There'll be songs and stories of the greatest composers and lyricists of the Great American Songbook, and more modern, much-loved hits. Come to the Capri for Swing with Strings in Swingin' the Great Standards on Friday the 7th of November. Hope to see you there.
Now, building a home is exciting. The possibilities are almost endless, but for a seamless and enjoyable building experience, it's crucial to choose the right builder. It'll make all the difference.
It's the very reason why so many South Australians trust Rossdale Homes. With over 40 years of experience, the team at Rossdale are your local experts in custom designs, SDA housing, knockdown rebuilds, house and land packages and more.
And of course, Rossdale Homes is synonymous with their absolute fixed price contracts. It means there's no hidden costs, just peace of mind.
So if you're ready to build with a team that puts you first at every stage of the building process, choose Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 19 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A handgun, meth and fantasy have been seized at Hackham West. Police made the discovery after conducting routine patrols along Village Road. Sergeant Peter Williams says when they stopped to speak to two women, one of them threw their handbag in the bushes before the pair tried to do a runner.
The search of the discarded handbag allegedly contained a handgun, methamphetamine and 45 mils of liquid fantasy. Nearby, a shopping bag also believed to have been discarded by the pair was also discovered, and that was holding a whopping 3.5 litres of liquid fantasy.
The women were arrested nearby. The 33-year-olds have been charged and will front court today. There's been a fall in knife crime in the first quarter of 2025-26. Tougher penalties and a successful weapons amnesty are being credited for the drop. Attorney General Kayam Ma says it's a step in the right direction.
We've seen some pretty high-profile incidents on the eastern seaboard. People will remember Bondi Junction, and we really don't want to get to that sort of stage, and that's why we've introduced these laws. And it's really pleasing to see South Australians responding in turn by handing in 3,500 dangerous weapons and seeing knife crime down now in South Australia.
The freeway is the number one hotspot for snapping speeding motorists in SA. It's been revealed the fixed cameras at Leeward Gardens were responsible for almost $5 million worth of fines in 2024-25, with the majority of offenders exceeding the limit by at least 10 Ks. Other fixed camera locations racking up plenty of fines: Tapley's Hill Road at West Beach and West Lakes Boulevard, West Lakes. Mobile speed cameras are their busiest on Grant Avenue at Rose Park and the North-South Motorway at Dry Creek. The US President is on his way to Israel as thousands wait in Tel Aviv for the return of hostages. Donald Trump is expected to greet the 20 living captives when they are released by Hamas. Speaking to reporters on the tarmac, Mr. Trump says all sides are cheering for the ceasefire.
Usually if you have one cheering, the other isn't. The other is the opposite. This is the first time everybody is amazed and they're thrilled, and it's an honor to be involved, and we're going to have an amazing time, and it's going to be something that's never happened before.
More tourism vouchers are up for grabs. An expanded Coast is Calling program has been announced with an additional 30,000 vouchers. Tourism Minister Zoe Beddison says they're available for accommodation and experiences.
We want to minimise the impact of the algal bloom. The summer season is critical for these businesses on the coast, and the travel vouchers are a real practical way to say to South Australians, you've got to help out.
Vouchers in this round will cover a longer period of travel between December 5 and April 26. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. It could be moving day as the AFL's trade period counts down to deadline day, which is Wednesday evening. Essendon captain Zach Merritt is still yet to officially request a trade to Hawthorn, while Melbourne is looking to complete trades for the Giants for Clayton Oliver and Gold Coast for Christian Petrarca. Well, Australia has pulled out the highest successful run chase in women's one-day internationals. India set the Aussies a target of 331 to win at the World Cup overnight. Skipper Alyssa Healy stepped up with a knock of 142 before Elise Perry guided the team home with an unbeaten 47 with 3 wickets in hand and 6 balls remaining. Meantime, the West Indies have shown some fight on day 3 of the second test against India in Delhi on the men's side. The tourists reaching 2 for 173 at stumps in their second innings, although they still need another 97 runs just to make the home side bat again. Let's get to tennis, and Monaco's Valentin Vachereau has produced a stunning performance to win the Shanghai Masters and become the lowest ranked player ever to win a Masters 1000 event. He was ranked outside the top 200 heading into the event and had to go through qualifying, but he beat Novak Djokovic in the semis before beating the Frenchman Arthur Rinderknecht in 3 sets in the final with some scintillating tennis. Yeah, amazing stuff. Full-time in World Cup qualifiers this morning. Scotland remains equal top in its group after beating Belarus 2-1. Denmark had a 3-1 win against Greece. Poland got up 2-0 over Lithuania. The Netherlands breezed past Finland 4-0, while Romania scored deep in stoppage time to upset Austria 1-0. And we're down to the final 4 teams in the World Series, and the American League Championship Series gets underway this morning. The Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Seattle Mariners in Game 1 of their best-of-7 series. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there, roads looking okay for the run-in today. We're accident breakdown free, which is great. A little bit busy at the moment at Flinders Park for the intersection upgrade of Grange Road and Holbrooks Road. Fitzroy Terrace North Adelaide slow. Getting busy Marion Road and Anzac Highway. Good news if you're around Trop Park, Hallett Cove or Shadow Park. The new on and off ramps are working on the Southern Expressway at Majors Road. Should make your drive in a bit easier this morning. Cameras, Grey Street, Newton. Got one right now, Duthie Street at Malvern. Find extra space for your entire family in the 7-seat Mahindra XUV 700 AX7, now from only $36,990. Visit mahindra.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, partly cloudy and 19 for your Monday, a possible morning shower tomorrow 21, Wednesday sunny and 28, Thursday a possible storm 27. Right now it's 13 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. The Excelsior Hotel, live music in the front bar Friday night to Sunday night. The Excelsior, Coghlan Street, Brompton. Feels like coming home, but better.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Spring has traditionally been the peak time for selling your home. As the gardens bloom, so too do buyer numbers. But while demand is high, stock levels remain at historic lows. That means more competition for the homes on the market and a greater chance of achieving a premium result for your property. At Toop and Toop, our experience, local knowledge and negotiation expertise give you the edge when it matters most. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 8, breaking 8 coming up very shortly. After 8:30, we're going to look a little bit closer at the Qantas data breach. A whole heap of personal data for Qantas frequent flyers has been posted somewhere on the dark web. What does that mean for you? What kind of data? What does it oblige you to do, if anything? We're going to get into all that and try and answer your questions after 8:30. But as always, we love you to pose them. There'll be plenty of things that we haven't thought of. 8223 You can text us on the Police Home Care text line as well. 0448 08 1395. But first, let's get into breaking 8.
Well, the state government will be spending the first couple of days this week rolling out its summer plan to deal with the algal bloom. We've already seen some snippets of that. Front page of the Tiser today about the coast is calling vouchers being increased, another round of them. And on top of that, the role of the surf lifesaving clubs in being our eyes on the beach to work out if it's safe to swim. To flesh it out further, we're joined in the studio today by the Premier, Peter Malinauskas. Premier, good morning.
Morning, Dave. Good morning, Will.
There's quite a few elements to this. Obviously, there's still a lot of people reeling in the tourism and hospitality industry from cancellations. Do you think that these vouchers are going to make much of a difference?
Well, they've already made a difference, and that's the feedback we've got directly from the industry themselves, but we wouldn't want that to sort of fall off just because we hit summer. So the current round of vouchers that's out there are 20,000 of them. People have got to use them, in effect, by the end of November. This takes it through the summer. We're taking 20,000 vouchers. We're increasing it to 30,000. We're expanding who can use it. So now eligible Airbnbs who go through a registration process will be able to be eligible to have the vouchers used with them. Similarly with the KI ferry, we can allow that to be used as well. We're increasing the number of vouchers that are in the $200 and $500 category, which is a lot of money. So yes, we're expanding that out, and it does make a difference. It's not the only thing we're going to be doing in this area, so watch this space. But we know it works, so we're going to continue it throughout the summer, notwithstanding the fact that in many of the places that you're able to use the vouchers for, like in the FIVEAA or KI, for instance, the algae's not there anymore. And we did...
But the perception is that it might be.
That's right. Yeah. And there lies in the challenge. Like, we had a dinky die sort of debate or discussion about whether or not we should make the southern fluoro eligible or not, or KI eligible or not, given there's no algae. I mean, why is the government subsidising someone's holiday in an area that's now unaffected? But the truth is, we're at a point where the perception of the algae is actually doing as much damage as the algae itself, at least in an economic context.
We've had a few texts from people, because we interviewed the CEO of Surf Lifesaving SA, Damien Marangan, just after 7:30. Have the lifesavers been called in to make judgment calls about whether beaches are safer or not, so that we don't see the headline, Premier shuts beaches 3 months from polling day?
Seriously? Well, we're not shut. We've said from the get-go, and I've asked this question over and over of our officials, are there any circumstances under which we'd need to close a beach? And they keep saying no. Right? So, naturally, we've reiterated that advice, myself included, that we don't anticipate any circumstances where a beach will close. The only time beaches ever close if there's a serious danger to someone.
But what about if it's like Henley the other week, where there's just foam everywhere and
people, look, I take the view that people are, we're pretty sophisticated species. People make their own judgments. There's no need to close the beach. Part of the challenge is this: while there are some people who get affected walking along the beach, they might be asthmatic or get a watery eyes or whatever. That is not the experience for the majority of people. So why would you close the beach for an impact that might be there for a minority of people at the expense of the majority of people that aren't affected? And I guess the balance we're trying to get right now, partnering with Surf Lifesaving struck us as making a lot of sense because they know the beach better than anybody. Swimming between the flags is a clear, consistent message. They had an app that could be updated to accommodate, including information on the algal bloom, and they make regular assessments. So that combined lend itself to a strategic partnership. And I can't thank, they have been Surf Lifesaving to work with, Sarah, the president, and Damien, the CEO. They have been, and their whole team have been really professional and productive to work with, and we thank them. They started their season on the weekend, nippers out on the water, and we haven't seen any adverse outcomes yet. Now, that's not to say, I'm not seeking to downplay it because the bloom's still there, particularly in Metro Adelaide, but partnering with them is just a good move.
They were a little bit unclear on what constitutes safe swimming conditions during that interview, and made the point that, because I asked, so will the flags be there in the absence of, is it because there's no respiratory irritation? Does it mean there's no visible algae? Does it mean there's no foam? What constitutes Surf Lifesavers stand their swim here?
So the clear and consistent advice that we've got from SA Health, this is from our public health officials, so this isn't advice that, politicians or anybody else is sitting around writing, is that best to avoid discoloured water from the algae. Bearing in mind that, of course, when you go to the beach, most of the time you can't see your feet when you go into the water unless it's a really still, clear day. But avoid discoloured water or abnormal amounts of beach foam, bearing in mind that there's often foam at the beach as part of the beach, but where you can visibly see when it doesn't look right. That's what you've got to avoid. And if someone does encounter it, like hypothetically, if you think, oh, this is fine, and you go for a swim, and algae's there, you're not going to have any sort of dramatic long-term health effects as a result of that. The worst thing that might happen to you is a bit of irritation, in which case, best to avoid it. But so the challenge is this: if you go back a few steps, we can test for the algae in the water, and we do. But that cell count testing takes 24 to 48 hours to turn around. Now, we put all that data out publicly on a weekly basis. But if you did that daily, because we fleshed this option out, and it takes 48 hours or 24 hours to get a test result, what good is that to a family in Golden Grove who wants to make a decision about which beach to go to if they're packing the kids in the car, or whether they're not going to go to the beach at all?
Especially it moves around so much.
Exactly. It's moving. It's dynamic.
Thursday at Aldinga, before the long weekend, it was horrible apparently. Over the long weekend, it looked great.
Yeah, exactly. This thing is dynamic and it moves. And, that's exceptionally frustrating, but it is the nature of this, and we just have to accommodate it as best as we can.
One of the other things that came out in that interview with Damien was that Surf Lifesavers have already been the subject of abuse from people because they are seen as some sort of tacit endorsement of going swimming, that it's all safe. If their presence is there, giving them an official role in saying when and where you can swim is going to inflame a section of the population that is very sensitive to all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Do you have a message for those people? And do you have concerns about Surf Lifesavers suddenly being in a position where they're going to be the subject of this kind of thing?
Yeah. Look, anybody who seeks to serve our community doesn't deserve abuse. I mean, people might think politicians are an exception, but everybody else, but a police officer, an AMBO, a nurse in a hospital, or a surf lifesaver on the beach, these are good people seeking to serve others, right? And there's not ever a justification for them people copping a spray or any heat. They're actually just trying to help. In respect to some of the behaviour around the algal bloom, we live in COVID, I think, has rewired people a little bit. And frankly, it worries me. I mean, we've heard stories of, in fact, I was hearing them again yesterday. In fact, I heard this same story twice from people at two different beaches of people piling up the foam on the beach, finding a dead fish, putting it next to the foam, putting it all together and then getting on their tummy and taking photos to, put up online. And, I see it on my Facebook feed, images of dead marine life and foam piled up. And people just want to know what's true and what's not true. And social media is not the best source of advice these days, unfortunately. It can be, but it can not be as well. So I don't know why someone would feel the need to pile up the foam to take a photo to put it up online. I don't know what's motivating someone to feel the need to do that. Now,
What would motivate someone to mock up pictures of a missing child and pretend that...
Yeah,
I know. Which leads to the debate about should kids be exposed to this freewheeling, unfettered space that is so often a clearinghouse for all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah, well, my views about that are well known, having started the movement for the social media ban, but which comes into effect on December 10. But so look, we are just trying to. It's a really challenging environment. The perception is a problem, and I'm not seeking to downplay the algae because it is real, right? There is a lot of dead marine life. The worst part of the coast throughout the state at the moment that's most adversely affected is Metro Adelaide, actually. But for the majority of the coastline, it's unaffected, and we don't want unreasonably there to be implications on businesses that rely on people to visit the beach, which is why we're going to get the information out there and encourage people to travel, which is what we've done through these initiatives announced over the last couple of days, and there's a lot more to come over the next 48 hours.
Premier Peter Malinauskas, thanks for joining us this morning in the studio.
My pleasure. Cheers.
19 minutes after 8, 8223 our number. There's a few ticks coming through that we're going to get to on the other side of this break. 0448 08 1395, the police home care text line. But first, let's check traffic this half hour, which will potentially include an incident that Matt Pantelis, our terrific announcer and newsman, has just texted me just a short time ago. So the two fire engines parked outside David Jones on North Terrace that are creating a backlog of traffic coming in for the east. Thank you for that, Matt. He's always on duty, Matt Pantelis. Nothing gets by him. So beware of that factored into the movements this morning. Otherwise, let's check traffic more broadly. Help Australians wanting to access critical medicines by visiting strongerpbs.com.au for more information.
Morning there. Kids are back to school today, so take it easy around the school zone. It's pretty busy in a couple of spots, including Fitzroy Terrace, North Adelaide. Also busy Brighton Road, Glenelg East, and quite slow at the moment at Flinders Park for the ongoing works of Grange Road and Holbrooks Road. Good news if you're coming in from Hallett Cove or Trott Park, the new on and off ramps on the Southern Expressway working at Majors Road should make the driving a bit easier. And look out for a camera which is active right now, Duthie Street at Malvern. Porto's famous whole chicken with your choice of basting is back by popular demand at just $15. Limited time only, so get yours today only at Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G.
Kooyonga Golf Club has been locked in to Live Golf in 2027. Premier Peter Malinauskas.
Bit of an opportunity presented itself, Rowie, that the team at Live and Kooyonga jumped on.
The 5AA Sports Show.
We've led the pack as far as Live events go. 40% of profits for Live revenue come from the Adelaide tournament. That's massive.
It is massive.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Is it the best Beechwood home ever made? Possibly, but there's always more to come from Beechwood. Introducing the Caliente, now open for viewing. The Caliente is a multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Taking inspiration from Palm Springs in California, it's definitely a conversation starter. The team at Beechwood can't wait for you to see it at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm. Open Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4:30 p.m. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Your old hot water system can drive as much as 40% of your energy bill. Fortunately, you can upgrade to something that's 70% cheaper to run thanks to Right Price. They're the leaders in heat pumps and installation. Now's the time to upgrade and save money on a more efficient hot water system and take advantage of government incentives and free installation. Reduce your energy costs today with a heat pump from Right Price. Make the switch with Right Price Hot Water.
At Right Price, heating and cooling, you can get the price right at Right Price.
I'm Brett Buckley from Ray White Business Sales. We've been with 5AA now for nearly 5 years. We noticed that fairly early, probably within about 4 to 5 months, we started to see some good quality inquiries coming through that were directly from FIVEAA. From our experience, I would highly recommend advertising on radio firstly, but more importantly on FIVEAA. Not just because of the reach, not just because you can get to your target market more effectively, but purely because of the collaborative experience that you'll have in ensuring that your marketing dollar is best spent.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit fiveaa.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link.
Australia's Cheaper Home Batteries program is here, and it's your chance to save thousands on a new home battery system. With up to 30% off a battery installation, NRG Solar can help you claim rebates worth up to $18,500.
Now, it doesn't matter if you're adding a battery to an existing solar system or starting one from scratch. This is the moment to act. And the great people at NRG Solar, they're ready to help you maximise your savings. And yes, systems installed from now are eligible.
NRG Solar are the local experts. They'll guide you through your options and help you lock in the rebate. Visit nrgsolar.com.au or call 1300 858 160 and get ready for lower bills and real energy independence. That's 1300 858 160.
Hi, Daniel Talley here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. Sometimes renovating an older home built before the 90s is just not worth the hassle, time or the cost. Instead, we buy your home as it is and give you as much time as you need to find your new dream home. We don't charge fees, there's no advertising costs or commissions. We just make the process of selling your home easy. Look out for a letter from us in your mailbox or visit home.com.au. That's HAUME.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes after 8, 150 gigabytes of personal data has been uploaded to the dark web from people from a host of sources. Most concerning here in Australia are those that are frequent flyers to Qantas. What's been released? What can be done with it? What can you do to protect yourself? We're going to get into all those questions after 8:30 this morning.
We always love our catch-ups with singer-songwriter and member of the Vagabond crew, John Schumann. Today, though, we've got him in the studio, but it's for a slightly more sober-minded and profound reason than many of the chats we have. John is joined in the studio today by independent MLC Sarah Game, who for the third year in a row is going to be running an International Men's Day event. Now, this is about getting guys to, was about a couple of things. Firstly, raising money for important charities that help men, Mates in Construction, which is an independent charity that addresses the high rate of suicide in the construction industry, and also a Port Lincoln-based mental fitness charity. Respectfully, John, we'll kick off with Sarah so she can tell us. No, we won't kick off with Sarah. We'll kick off with you, John, because Sarah's microphone isn't working. So
no, it's all fixed now.
It's all
we had
fixed.
a little bit of
Sarah.
a little bit of technical magic in the background there.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, can you hear me there?
Yes, we got you, Sarah.
We've got you live and well. So tell us a bit about the event. And well, it's not just one event. There's a whole bunch of events, aren't there?
So International Men's Day isn't something that I created. I mean, it exists globally around the world. It's just what wasn't celebrated here in South Australia. And so really, one day a few years ago, obviously after entering Parliament, I was looking to try and do something useful in the space of men and men's health. And so I'm not an event organiser or good at events at all, but I just woke up one morning and thought I'm going to do this. Politics can be quite slow moving, so you can feel passionately about an area and not see really much movement. And this was something where I just decided I'm doing it. I'm going to create an event and off we go. And to be fair, I contacted Chris McDermott. He was the first person I contacted. And really without him and people like that jumping on board initially years back, I don't think it would have got off the ground. But it has been off the ground, biggest event in South Australia the last few years.
Mm. And to you, John, your music, your work, a lot of the songs that you've done touch on male experience, often harrowing male experience, in war, in emergency services. Was that a sort of entry point for you with this?
Yeah, look, it was sort of by accident when I wrote 19, which I hasten to say, gentlemen, it's not the only song I've ever written. I found that I actually put post-traumatic stress disorder back into the national conversation. and it was quite unconscious. I got sort of co-opted by the ADF to do a video presentation on post-traumatic stress disorder pre and post-deployment, because a lot of the boys they were coming back psychologically injured, but they didn't feel that they could speak up. And what everybody will tell you is that the first big step on the way to healing is conversation. So anyway, from there I started flying in and out of mine sites all over Australia, presenting mental health to guys who were about to go down the hole. And basically I told jokes and swore a lot, but I was able to get the message across, which was great. So it's been a passion of mine for some time. So when Sarah and her team asked us to come and do a few songs, we jumped at the chance because it's really important.
Yeah,
really important.
Happy for either of you to answer this. John, with your experience talking to people out on the road, and Sarah with hosting this event and the people that have come through and spoken about it, is there a generational element to this? Because at very least anecdotally, it seems younger men are more comfortable with the language of mental health, referring to it, talking about it, has an existence and a presence on social media. So is this something more targeted at middle age and older people, or is there a message for everyone here?
I think there's a message for everyone here. I think certainly, yes, with the younger generation, I think we have seen a change in terms of talking about men's struggles and men's mental health. For me, this event isn't solely about that. It's also, it's twofold story. It's obviously continuing to raise awareness and encourage people to speak up and talk about their problems and connect. And I think the older generation, or, my generation up, they do still have problems with that. But it's also to create a celebratory, positive narrative. I mean, the night's actually going to be really fun. We're going to have obviously music, we're going to have dancing. It's a time to connect and also celebrate the positive contribution that men make. And that's the flip side of men's mental health. And I think that we're still trying to change that narrative. So I think we've made progress in that it's okay to talk about the struggle of men, but it's not actually okay to talk about the really positive contribution that men play in a lot of our lives. And that's also really important if you want men to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the event is on Wednesday, the 19th of November at the Hilton, and you can get tickets from imdadelaide.com.au. To you, Sarah, and to you, John, our good friend. Uncharacteristically sensible conversation today, wasn't it?
It was hard. But
You've shot your range today.
Mate, I muscled up. I'm a true Renaissance man.
We were up all night practising being sensible too. I think we pulled it off. Good on you both, Sarah and John. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
The King Living Spring Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on Australian designed, award-winning furniture. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King? Sale ends soon. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Is your tech causing chaos? You need Gigs to You. Got a constantly crashing computer, weak Wi-Fi, problematic printer? Our fast and friendly gigs are available to come to you. No fix, no fee, gigs guarantee. Gigs to You, part of Officeworks.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy, 19 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A significant drug bust in the southern suburbs. A shopping bag containing approximately 3.5 litres of fantasy was found while police were conducting routine patrols in Hackham West, while a discarded handbag contained a handgun, meth and an additional 45 mils of fantasy. 2 women who'd earlier tried to do a runner were arrested. Sergeant Peter Williams says charges have been laid.
The women, both aged 33 from Whites Valley and Marion, were arrested and charged with possessing a firearm without a licence, trafficking a controlled drug and trafficking a large commercial quantity of controlled drug. They've been refused bail and will appear in the Christies Beach Magistrates Court today.
Latest figures show signs of a turnaround in knife crimes. The number of incidents has fallen in the first quarter of 2025-26, but Shadow Police Minister Jack Batty says the reality is knife crime is still happening.
It's happening because we don't have enough police. This is a government that's hopelessly under-resourced South Australia Police. We've got a shortfall of hundreds of police officers, and we also have weak bail laws that seem to allow criminals to keep committing crime over and over again and get away with it. So 100 knife crimes a week is no cause for celebration.
Spam calls from political parties are about to become a thing of the past. New laws come into effect this week, which will ban robocalls and robopolls relating to state elections. Anyone caught breaching the laws will face penalties of up to $5,000 or 10 years in prison. Jamestown was given a shake last night. A magnitude 2.3 earthquake was recorded shortly before 8 p.m. More than 40 people reporting it to Geoscience Australia. Well, Australians are being warned to be on alert for scammers after hackers made good on their threat to release the stolen data of 5.7 million Qantas customers. The group managing to steal the personal information by targeting a company called Salesforce. Tech expert Trevor Long says the data is now openly available.
Any scammer in the world can now get this information and start targeting our Australian customers because they know more about you. They can use an email address and a first name. It can be very polite. Then they can indicate that they know that you're a Qantas frequent flyer. They can dupe you very quickly now.
And the latest movie in the Tron series was number one at the US box office over the weekend, Tron Ares, making $33 million. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide is still trying to finalise a deal to get Brisbane Premiership forward Callum Archie to the club. The Crows are at this stage refusing to satisfy a request for a first-round pick. Australia has pulled out the highest successful run chase in a women's one-day international. India set the Aussies a target of 331 to win at the ODI World Cup overnight. Skipper Elisa Healy stepped up with a knock of 142 before Elise Perry guided the team home with an unbeaten 47 with 3 wickets in hand and 6 balls remaining. Healy says it shows no challenge is too hard.
Oh, look, a great result. I mean, we'll take those 2 points. To chase down 330 in a 50-over game for us is new territory. So I'm glad that we've got the confidence to do that now, and hopefully we don't have to do it again. But if we do, then we know we can do it.
Audio there, thanks to Prime Video. Well, Matt Payne and Garth Tander are the toast of Bathurst after winning the great race yesterday. It was a first title for Payne, while it was number 6 for Tander. Champion trainer Chris Wallop is quickly turning his attention to the Caulfield Cup and the Everest after securing his 4th Caulfield Guineas title with Autumn Boy on Saturday. Wallop telling Nine's Today Show while he'll have 3 runners in the $20 million Everest in Sydney, there's 2 horses at Caulfield within a chance.
Caulfield Cup, yeah, it's always a big race on the calendar, but we've got a few runners. We've got a horse called Birdman, he's racing very well, and we've got a mare from America called Moira.
Australia has claimed a clean sweep of its netball series against South Africa after winning Game 3 here in Adelaide, 65-42. And in some basketball, Melbourne United's made it 5 from 5 to start the NBL season, smashing the Cairns Taipans 95-60. There was one other game yesterday with the South East Melbourne Phoenix, 87-81 point winners against New Zealand. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Kids are back to school, so take it easy on the drive in and look out for speed restrictions around those areas too today. A little bit slow at the moment at Fitzroy Terrace, North Adelaide, starting to build. Fullerton Road at the Britannia roundabout. And good news if you're coming in from the south today around Hullo Cove or Trott Park, the new on and off ramps at Majors Road on the Southern Expressway are operational. Should make the drive in a bit easier this morning. Got cameras Anzac Highway, Ashford and one right now, Duthie Street at Malvern. Do you or someone you care for need complex mental health support? Sane can help. Choose from a range of free digital and telehealth support services. Visit sane.org today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, 19 today, partly cloudy, a possible morning shower tomorrow, 21. Wednesday up to 28 and sunny, 27 with a possible storm on Thursday. Right now it's 13 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Steinborner has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, 7-year unlimited K warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 impresses with a turbocharged diesel engine, 4x4 dual-range transmission, 3-tonne towing capacity, and it can easily handle a full-size Aussie pallet with a 1,045-kilo payload. All this from $39,990 drive away. Jack Motors, it's well worth the trip. Gawler, Barossa and Clare, or at gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
I'm high! He's back, mate.
The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home. And for seniors, it's always been great value with 20% discount on selected bistro meals. Yep, 20% off. Feeding the whole family? Bring them all Saturday or Sunday for live acoustic music from 5 p.m. And kids eat free. Some conditions apply. The Excelsior Hotel feels like home, but better. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
One of the best things about South Australia is there's so much of it. Fortunately, getting a parcel from one side to the other is easy with Stateliner. Sure, Stateliner have a fleet of modern, comfortable buses, but they'll also carry freight across the state for you. Affordable rates, and your parcel goes on the next available bus. From the city to Port Pirie, Whyalla and Port Augusta, Ceduna and Port Lincoln, the Riverland, Mount Gambier and many towns in between. Get your parcel moving quickly. Put it on the Stateliner bus.
Living on a big block in an older home that's seen better days, or maybe you just picked up a fixer-up on a generous slice of land? Well, Metro Homes SA, Adelaide's custom design builder, have a clever solution.
That's right. They'll knock down the old place and build 2 brand new homes on the same block. You sell one, move where you want, and keep the other as an investment. It's downsizing and building your future, all in one smart move.
And the best part, Metro takes care of the whole lot: design, planning, council approvals, the works. They make it easy because they've done it all before.
So if you're ready to unlock the potential in your property without the stress, go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 9, Qantas have confirmed that a global cyber criminal group have posted some 150 gigabytes of data to the dark web, having refused to pay a ransom. That means that people who are Qantas frequent flyers have birthdays, addresses, emails, phone numbers, frequent flyer numbers, points balances, all posted somewhere online. No passport details or financial information were present. That's what Qantas have been keen to get out there. But what can be done with the information that is out there? What should people do? How concerned should we be? There's no one better in the business than Trevor Long from Techspert, and who features on Channel 9 regularly. Trevor, good morning to you.
Good morning to you both.
So, Trevor, we were talking about this earlier. How worried should we be? Is the absence of credit card details and passport details significantly reassuring?
Not at all. In fact, I struggle with Qantas continually saying it's okay because there's no financial information. What we now have, because this data is out, it's not just, been obtained, it's now out. So I've seen the site, I've seen the file. If I can see the file, that means any scammer in the world can grab that file and download it and use that information to begin to socially engineer us. Now, what that means is they've got information about us all now, right? But when they add in something like the fact that we've got, for Fly Qantas, we've got a frequent flyer number, hey, we've even got a meal preference for some people listed. What they can do is they can better engineer the emails that they send us and make us think they're real, whether they are purporting to be from Qantas or from anywhere. Like, they might even say they're from a financial institution and say, just to validate your account, as well as your date of birth, can we please get, are you gluten-free or not?
Yeah.
And that might be something that you've never shared with anyone online before, but because it was in the Qantas system, you're now going to believe that email more. And so actually I think people are at more risk because banks are good at stopping fraud on our cards, but we're very bad at stopping ourselves from clicking links in emails that are actually trying to scam us.
Yeah. What is there anything you can do to make yourself safer now that your information is out there?
Look, the first thing everyone should do is they should have strong internet security software. And I don't just mean antivirus software that stops you downloading something to your computer. Good internet security software these days actually kind of stops you from clicking the links that you might willingly think are legitimate, but they're not. So that's a huge thing that's a block in the way of people. Hopefully, it's a bit of a speed hump before you get hacked or scammed. But critically, the most important thing is just being alert and being aware that every email, every text message and every phone call could potentially be a very well-equipped scammer with great English, because it used to be we'd pick the Nigerian scammer emails because they had very poor English and grammar skills. But with AI, they don't anymore. With our data, they're much more friendly and they know us. So we need to be hyper cautious about what we believe in emails, text messages and phone calls that we receive.
Are we too soft on these companies? Trevor, are they doing enough in your view to keep personal data safe?
Look, I think that Qantas needs to suffer a strong penalty here from the government in the same way that Optus did back in 2022, because these companies need to know that they have to put in place protocols and processes that will stop this from happening. You have to remember that Qantas's systems were not hacked. Qantas was socially engineered. One of the scammers called up Salesforce, the software company involved, and pretended to be a Qantas employee using information they'd obtained and got into the system. Human error, essentially. Someone handed over information. There's always going to be human error. There's always going to be cyber attacks. But how much data is in one place is probably the biggest question I have. Should it be spread out more? Should it be harder to get 5 million records in one go? Yes, it should be.
Was that data centre even in Australia, to your knowledge, Trevor? I've got a recollection whether it was in the Philippines or something.
It was, I believe it was a call centre in Manila using this software, but the software could have been in the cloud, so it could have been in Singapore or the US, we don't know. This is cloud, but Salesforce is a huge business that we're really not talking about much in this, because I've been on the dark web where these hackers are exploiting their, what they've done. There's 40-odd companies that they've got details from, and there's only 6 that they've released data from. So there's much more to come. Not many Australian companies. Qantas was the key there. And these hackers are targeting Australia now. In their own chat groups, they're targeting Australia. So we need to be vigilant.
Is there any reason for optimism as we look at the future of the way data is protected and hacks like this, Trevor? Are there tools coming down the line that we will say, well, one day we can look back on this period and go, wow, remember that when everyone's data just got posted periodically online, or is there no such cause for optimism?
There's great cause for optimism. However, when I tell you what it is, a lot of people will go, no, never. The digital ID. If you haven't got a My ID from the government, you're missing out on potentially the best way to log into anything without handing over your information. So we should move urgently to a system where to get a bank account, to get a telco mobile phone account, you should just sign in with My ID. And no information is shared with the telco or the bank, simply a verification that says, tick, this person's real, what they said is real, give them an account. That actually means that less data is stored in more places, but a lot of people are scared of the digital ID for no real great reason, but because of its kind of overarching concern.
Well, Bob Hawke tried it in about 1984, and look where that got him.
Exactly.
The Australia card was the idea, and it went down in a flaming heap.
Would have solved all our problems.
Yeah. Well, certainly going to keep the text line ticking over nicely with that suggestion, Trevor. Thank you for that, mate. We even get texts about ID cards unprompted some mornings from people who've been up all night. Good on you, Trev. Trevor Long, textpert at Channel 9. It is funny, isn't it? I did a story for the Australian last week about the good people over the road at the Pullman Hotel, who are 3 floors of which are now what is, for want of a better term, a hospital. And it's because of, to a large degree, the bed blockage with not enough aged care positions. So most of the patients over there in the 48-bed setup are older people, like Graham, the chap that I met. He's got cellulitis, lovely guy, father of 4, former truckie, truck mechanic. Anyway, interviewed a woman from Amplar being the company, the private health company that runs the service for SA Health. And later that day I got a phone call. It's like, oh, hi, this is Alice from Medibank. And I'm like, yeah. And she said, oh, David, sorry to call you out of the blue. I'm like, yes. And she said, oh, are you okay? I said, well, what are you calling me about? And she said, oh, about the story with the Pullman. And I went, what? Because I didn't know that Amplar are owned by Medibank.
Oh, and you thought.
So when this woman rang me, I just thought.
You gave her the scam voice.
Yeah, right. I'm making dinner. And she's actually trying to help me with this story. But I reckon these days, if you ring anyone out of the blue and you've got no prior connection with them, you just immediately assume that you're being conned.
Well, you get a text message from any number now that you don't recognise and you go, all righto, what's the angle here?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's just someone I've got to fix my taps.
You've got to feel sorry for the overwhelming majority of wholly reputable Indian people every time they make a phone call to someone about anything.
Completely.
You know, if you're working I'm just ringing up about your car being serviced or something, the moment you hear the accent, because all those call centres, like predominantly in Australia, the ones about changing your energy plan or whatever, they're just all Indian foreign students.
All right, let's head to Yankalilla because Phil's called in. Morning to you, Phil.
Morning, Dave and Will. Just so that what I'm about to say doesn't get misinterpreted, I'll just outline something for you. I very much understand the trauma caused by road accidents. I buried 12 friends in motor vehicle accidents. One was my stepsister, who was met head-on by a fella from overseas who forgot he was on the wrong side of the road when he was driving and left 5 young boys without their mother. I personally was in an accident myself as a passenger and suffered multiple massive severe injuries, and the driver lost his life at the age of 19. It took me 3.5 years to learn to walk properly again. Had to have my head and face all wired back together, as well as multiple disrupted joints, because when they were upgrading the road, bitumising it, some bright spark decided, we won't grade the rest of it. The corrugation's got 2.5 inches deep and we lost traction and hit a gum tree at 100 kilometres an hour. I had multiple friends come and try and help. Well, they were successful in saving my life. 2 nurses, two ambulance officers and the police officer I all knew very well. So these speed new rules coming in around schools for 40 kilometres an hour, is there a transitional stage where, look, no, there isn't. You get a fine straight away. And now, if your licence expires, not being suspended, just expires and you overlook renewing it, in South Australia it's a $600 fine. Now, 2 weeks after it expires, your insurance is still current. But do you get a less fine in that 2 weeks? No, it's a $600 fine. Northern Territory, $300. Western Australia, $200, and as little as $148 for the same offence in the ACT. Now, you stand there and say it's not revenue, I dispute that.
There are big differences, that's for sure. Good on you, Phil. Phil from Yankalilla there.
All right,
appreciate the call.
We're going to check traffic and we'll come back with more in just a moment. Plenty of good texts coming through on the Police Home Care text line as well. Help Australians. Way to access critical medicines by visiting strongerpbs.com.au for more information.
Morning there in North Adelaide. A crash to look out for Barton Terrace near Jeffcott Street. Back to school today, so look out for kids and speed restrictions around school areas. Slow at the moment at Flinders Park for intersection upgrade works of Grange Road and Holbrooks Road, and quite busy at the moment South Road at Glandore. Early morning cameras, Alawena Avenue, Mitchell Park, and got one right now, Duthie Street at Malvern. Glenelg BMW Motorrad is proud to be your new BMW Motorrad dealership in South Australia. Visit the friendly team at 141 Brighton Road. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Australia's cheaper home batteries program is here, and it's your chance to save thousands on a new home battery system with NRG Solar. With up to 30% off a battery installation, NRG Solar can help you claim rebates worth up to $18,500. Whether you're adding a battery to existing solar or starting from scratch, this is the moment to say goodbye to your power bills for good. Visit nrgsolar.com.au or call 1300 858 160 and get ready for lower bills and real energy independence.
Some swear jars collect coins, but at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, their swear jar collects promises.
I'm Laura. I swear to help bring your thoughts and design ideas to life, just how you envisioned them, or better.
Hi, I'm Rick the plumber. I swear to always be on time and clean up after myself.
Hi, I'm Renette, a designer. I swear to listen to your ideas and help create a functional space for you.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Today's reverse cycle ducted air conditioning systems do far more than just switch on and off. They're packed with features designed to save energy and keep your home comfortable all year round.
And that's why REQ Air Conditioning and Energy Solutions take the time to walk you through your new system step by step. They'll show you how exactly to use the controls and settings so you're confident from day one. There'll be no guesswork and no wasted energy, which is important. Just a system that works the way it should.
That's right. With REQ Air Conditioning, you're not just getting an installation, you're getting support, guidance and a properly set up system that runs efficiently.
Stay cool in summer, warm in winter, and make the most of your new system by learning how to master the remote. Search REQ Air Conditioning for a free in-home quote. That's REQ Air Conditioning.
Our nurses and midwives are at breaking point. Every day we help South Australians through their most vulnerable moments. But right now we're being pushed to the limit with feelings of burnout, fatigue and being undervalued. Respectful wages and safe working conditions are about valuing us and also ensuring there are enough nurses and midwives to provide the care you deserve. Support those who care for you. Visit respectnursesandmidwives.com. Authorised by Elizabeth DeBars, ANMFSA, Ridleyton, South Australia.
Hey, it's Lauren here from Adelaide. And if you're like me and you love a good bargain from your local chemist, check out Star Discount Chemist. They're all about great value and helping your family stay healthy. Go in store or online for click and collect and delivery. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help?
Look at all this stock. All of it has to go. Go, go, go. At all TJM stores nationwide. It's TJM's national car park sale. Bull bars, rooftop tents, suspension kits, camping gear. Prices slashed. We're talking select canopies from just $1,999 and rock slider and bull bar bundles starting at $1,600. These deals are in-store only. And when they're gone, they're gone, gone, gone. Get down to your local TJM store nationwide. 17th and 18th of October.
TJM.
Take the lead.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Seven minutes to 9. Let's give away some food and beverage vouchers, shall we?
Yes, let's do
Diane
it.
called in a little bit earlier. Diane, congratulations to you. Your excellent call. As we're reflecting on great family holidays and traditions inspired by our own Sam Daddo's family, the Daddos go to Bathurst each and every year, have done bar 1 year for COVID since 2002. Diane, you have got a food and beverage voucher for the Lucky Dumpling Markets, which is excellent. So you can get drinks and food from Nancho Man, Spice Kitchen 89, Suki Lala, Gang Gang, and Kaya Desserts. Taste the flavours of Asia at Lucky Dumpling Market, Adelaide's Springtime Food and Entertainment Hub, 17th of October to the 9th of November. Visit luckydumplingmarket.com. Looks like the weather for that's going to be great starting this weekend with the forecast for the weekend absolutely spectacular. 27 on Saturday, 32 on Sunday. That might be a little misleading though because we might get up to 5 mils of rain, but it starts on the Friday, so 20 and clear on the Friday too. So a couple of great days to get along. If that is of interest to you. Now, shall we check the traffic situation? Thanks to RAA. Better to be a member with RAA Road Service. The cheap spots this morning, they're on, let's have a look, Northeast Road. There's a good one. The Mobile at Gillis Plains, $1.54.2. The United South Road, Melrose Park, $1.58.5. The BPX Convenience Christie's Beach, $1.59.9. And diesel, the cheapest is the United at the airport, $1.74.5. I actually checked for the first time in a while, David, the oil barrel price this morning because I saw a number that I couldn't...
West Texas crude?
Yeah, your West Texas or your Brent, whatever's to your liking. At the moment, it just updated, trading at $59 a barrel. Now, you might recall, and I don't want to give everyone false hope here because we know sometimes the retail price doesn't follow the barrel price quite as we might expect. But it got up to $116 a barrel on the 30th of May 2022, which is then we had to bring in the fuel excise.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
it was so inexpensive. So expensive, should I say. 59 now basically theoretically puts petrol prices back to the same level they were late 2017, early 2018.
Wow.
Hasn't been that low for a while if you take out that period of the original shock of global closures of COVID between basically March 2020 and, let's say, the end of 2020. So hopefully that's a really long way of saying hopefully we've got some cheap petrol that's on the way and will be around for a little while.
It's funny the wholesale prices can come down and retail prices don't necessarily
exactly
follow,
right,
particularly before long weekends and school holidays. A lot of feedback about the Qantas hacking story. Chris, taking a light-hearted bent on it, says hopefully the hackers will book me a flight somewhere. I need a holiday. That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
If they accidentally got your points and said, oh, good news, you're going business class to London.
Oh, damn. Those darn hackers.
Yeah, I know. Quite a lot of negativity about any suggestion of an ID card. One here, no name given. I'm really tired of these companies playing fast and loose with our data. I understand Qantas not wanting to pay the ransom, but now we are the ones who will pay. There was some modest punishment for Qantas's board. The Qantas executive and the board had 15% of their bonuses cancelled out on account of this data breach. But they've also said that all the other bonuses are still intact.
Do you remember that really?
Is it? What that effectively means is you get an 85% bonus despite this happening. Don't you think?
It reminds me of, there's that chilling bit of the movie Fight Club where the main character in his role as a insurance assessor for a major car company reveals the formula that the car companies use in the event they need to do a recall, and that is essentially that if the cost of doing a recall is higher than the cost of the insurance payouts to do with the crashes and deaths that would result from them doing it, they don't bother doing a recall. It feels to me like that's the equation that the corporate world looks at the moment when it comes to these things. And at the moment, the financial cost to them of having a data breach is not so high that it's worth them investing enough to make these things happen less often. Now, I'm sure if they're listening, they'll go, we are investing lots of money in it. Yeah, but there are solutions out there. There's more that can be done. There's less offshoring that can be done. There's all sorts of stuff.
We're using the economics of Fight Club, and this was something that Justice Michael Lee was quite clear on in his excellent judgment in the federal court case about them sacking all of their staff using the cover of COVID to do it. There is actually a real risk that the fine itself, even though it's an historic high, might still be less than the money Qantas has saved by offshoring its staff and outsourcing its staff. So, you know, a beady-eyed accountant sitting there in at headquarters there in Mascot, at Qantas headquarters there in Mascot near Sydney Airport, might go, you know, what's the worst the federal court can do? Because these are the 10-year salary, annual leave.
Are we ahead or are we not?
Yeah.
FIVEAA news is on the way.
Bleak thought to leave.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Enjoy the weather.
Graham Gooding's coming up very, very shortly. Enjoy the weather. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 6.
Coming